And now we're live. All right, everybody, welcome in. I am Pugs Moran. We do this every noon-ish, 12 around that time, Central Standard, live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios on the beautiful south side of Chicago. We do a current events, hot topic, and trend-driven show. Whatever it is that people are talking about, not necessarily the headlines or what you're hearing on cable news, because quite frankly, everything they talk about on cable news has to do with American politics. They don't do news. Cable news isn't cable news. It's cable political coverage. That's all it is. So I try to do stories that are, not being covered, things that I find interesting. Sometimes we find ourselves ankle, sometimes knee deep in the political conversation, but I try to stay away from that. It is my hope that every day I can equally piss off people on the right and people on the left. Because if I'm doing that, then I feel like I'm speaking to those of us in the middle, the 70% who look at the 15% crazy on the right and go, no, who look at the 15% crazy on the left and go, no. This is who this show is for. Normal, common sense, working class people. Every single day. All right, here we go. I'm wearing my White Sox hat today because, of course, I will only wear the White Sox branded black hat when they are in first place. And we are in first place and stretching out a little. 2-game lead. Can't remember the last time the White Sox had a 2-game lead. Oh, I don't know, maybe 2005, the last time they won a World Series. But I do owe a special bit of gratitude, and not even a bit of, just a whole bunch. Thank you to the Texas Rangers, hottest team in baseball. That's what I'm calling them. Calling the Texas Rangers the hottest team in baseball. For the last couple of weeks, people have been saying that there's only like 3 teams in the American League who look like they can, challenge. I'm proud to say my White Sox have been mentioned as one of those 3 teams. Heard a conversation yesterday where the Texas Rangers were now being spoken of in such terms. So let's go. Let's go. All right. Thank you, Texas. Texas handed the Cleveland Guardians another loss yesterday. Texas, man, they went into Cleveland, hostile environment. That team's quit, though. I think the Guardians have quit. I think that they've got a lot of injuries. Their pitchers, a lot of injuries. Their star players, a lot of injuries. So, look, I'm not diminishing anything the Rangers have done. What is this, a 6-game winning streak now? That's legit, but thank you. Thank you to the Rangers. Somebody needs to beat the crap out of the Guardians. We'll take them this weekend. We got the Guardians this weekend, so we'll handle our end of things, but thank you to the Texas Rangers. The first place Texas Rangers. Wear your Texas Ranger hats. If you have them and your team's in first place, you got to wear. You got to represent. All right, so that's that. Also, a little bit of an update. This is good news. This is really good news. My 17-year-old son and I no longer hate each other. That's good. That is good, because you have no idea. Those words were spoken a couple of nights ago. There were words spoken on both ends. We've been a little icy. For, about 24 hours. We had a big fight, and then for about 24 hours after that, there was ice between us. Baseball brought us together. We sat and watched a baseball game together, and then before you knew it, we're talking like normal people. And guess what? Here we are 24 hours removed from that, and now we're fine again. I like my kid. He's like the most important thing in the world to me, and I would die for him. It was probably the case 48 hours ago, but yeah, I was mad. I would have resented it. I would have been like, I'm going to die for you? Oh, you're such a jerk. Today, I'm like, I will die for you. See, there's a little different. You get over your fights. You got to make an emotional choice to get over your fight. And I made the emotional choice, and so did he, which I'm very proud of, to sit and watch a baseball game together, even though we were very angry at each other. We were very angry when we sat down. We weren't speaking. The first 3 innings were very weird, very tense. No, especially since we were doing good and we didn't want to celebrate because that would show some kind of joy and that would somehow be not quite in the rules or in the spirit of our fight. It's very cold. And then, 4th inning, I'm going to get up. I get something to eat. I'm like, hey, can I get you something while I'm up? And then he wants something, and then I get it for him. And he says, thank you. And we are off to the races. And we're friendly again. All right. Adam says he's about to bounce because the Rangers are playing today. White Sox are playing today too, which is why we're doing a really quick show. Not a really quick show, but you know. I wanted to have Maddie on today. I was like, I should call Maddie today. And then I'm like, oh shit, the White Sox are playing at 11:35. All right, no guests today. Let's see. We do need to reward our fine folks in the chat room. The chat room has a I can't speak enough about my chatters. They've been here every day for 15 years. We've been doing this show every day for 15 years. No, we've been doing it for 5. 5 years you guys have been here. So I've decided that I want to reward those people who are waiting in line before we open the chat room doors. Every morning we award a podium, just like F1. Formula One racing. They don't care about first, second, and third. That's what we reward here. First person through the door of the chat room today is, look at him, the War Devil. The War Devil himself, Byron. Byron was first in. Thank you, Byron. Second in, Barney. Look at Barney. First place on the podium, Byron. Second place on the podium, Barney. Third place, she's dependable. You can't say she's not. It's Jen. Jen S. Thank you, Jen. That's our podium. Byron, Barney, and Jen. Also in the chat room, just behind them, coming across, getting the checkered flag in 4th place. You still get points, but you know, you're not on the podium. That would be Kevin, KB, Taronda, Adam, who's about to leave us, the lovely April. We love April. Dasif 2000, going for the sweet-o. Sweep. Yeah, man. I hope so. Adam, chatting in, a little time for baseball. Offense is like 25% better. I'm skeptical if that'll keep up, but our pitching is still top notch. Let's go. It's good. It's good when the Rangers are doing well. It's good when the White Sox are doing well. It's good when the Brewers are doing well. I love the Brewers. I love the Cardinals too. How the Cardinals doing? They're okay. They're middling, right? I don't know what the Cardinals are doing. I haven't been paying attention. But those are basically my 4 teams. I will also, if it's like a championship series or something, I will also root for the Yankees. I have some my grandpa was a big Yankee fan. He loved Mantle and DiMaggio and all those guys. So there's a little bit of Yankee appreciation. So if the Yankees are playing the Padres in the World Series, I'm Yankees. I'll go Yankees. If the Yankees are playing the Cardinals or the Brewers, no, screw that. No, I root Cardinals and Brewers. Cardinals for many of the same reasons that I would root for the Yankees. You know, if you look at the Yankees as being the dominant team in the history of Major League Baseball, and they are just because of how prolific they were in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even the late 70s. Then there was some downtime. Then they got good again in the late 90s, 2000s. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. The Cardinals are the same thing in the National League. People sleep on the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I think, are the second winningest team in the history of Major League Baseball. So I like the Cardinals. All right, so baseball is happening, so my mind is distracted, but my mind is also distracted because we've got some live breaking news, and I want to share this with you because I've been watching this all morning. This is one of my favorite things about America. Sometimes crazy people climb things, and right now, let's go live. Let's check in live to New York City. This is the Empire State Building where we've got 2 yahoos who have climbed up to this. Well, actually, this isn't live, but I wanted to bring you these pictures. Even more so. You can get a look at them. As it says right there.
We know 2 people, as you can see right there, climbed to the very top, unfolded a flag with a protest message in it. They've been up there for the duration, much of the newscast, and we've been covering it live. Been joined by Robert Boyce, former chief of the detectives, and Tom.
Anybody know what the flag said? I didn't see the flag. Was it like a pro-Palestinian flag or because they seem to have gone out of their way not to mention what the flag was. Let's listen to that again. They didn't tell us what the protest said.
They've been up there for the duration, much of the newscast, and we've been covering it live. Been joined by Robert Boyce, former chief of the detectives, and Tom Kaminsky, and Newscopter 7 has been watching it for us.
That's a chick. This is a chick. I'm pretty sure that's a chick. This is like a boyfriend and girlfriend. He's like a bartender at some bar down there in the village, and she's a waitress. She's a cocktail waitress. and they go home and they get high and create schemes. And this is what they came up with. That's got to be a chick.
If you were going to pull off a stunt,
and if it's not a chick, this dude, this dude looks like a chick.
For lack of a better word like this, I think this is the time you'd want to do it. The city, all eyes focused on the city for America 250 celebrations. We just finished with the Knicks championship. There's talk of Taylor Swift's wedding going off here.
There's a lot happening in the city.
Cup. So you are going to
All right, it looks like they're coming down here. Again, this is quite a bit of time ago. Well, 11:39, so this is about 20-40 minutes ago.
Get eyes on you, for sure.
I want to bring in Robert Boyce back real quick. Chief Boyce, the Center brings up
Are they free climbing? Like, do they have
kind of thing that the NYPD right now?
They don't look like they have any kind of.
Just the beginning of other protests. All eyes in the world are pointed toward New York City with these big celebrations planned.
Are these two women? Is this dude down here? I think this is a dude. What the hell is this? A cruise ship? Why does that cruise ship look so big? This looks like a woman, right? We're thinking this is a girl. I'm only saying that because, I don't know, instinctively, maybe reflexively, I'm kind of attracted to her back. That appears to be a feminine back. All right, let's see if we get a better look here. Again, we are watching live. This isn't live. This is a little bit behind because I wanted to make sure you saw what I was seeing about a half hour ago. These are a couple of yahoos. That's a woman. That's a chick. Looks like Catwoman. Kind of hot. Jesus, how horny am I? What's the matter with me? I don't have any idea at all what she looks like other than she's got a female back. And watch it be a dude. Watch it be a dude. Looks like a chick to me, though. She's coming down. What's this guy doing? He's putting up, he went to like a sporting goods store and he got himself a, what is that, a flag pole that he's putting up there? Are we gonna get another flag? That's definitely a chick, right? Look at the way she's coming down. That's a chick. All right, so it's a dude and a chick. And, I'm staying with my original observation, which is I think she might be hot. I think she might be a hot chick. Man, I bet she's wild. All right, let's see. What are they putting up there? You got some kind of that is definitely a chick. That is definitely a chick. Yeah. Okay, it's a boyfriend and girlfriend. Oh, yeah, she's wearing like a halter top. She's dressed like Catwoman. She's definitely hot. She's definitely hot. Is he proposing marriage? Wait, what is going on here? Wait, what? Seriously? I don't know what's happening.
See in front of the Empire State at this point, Fifth Avenue.
Look at this.
Hi, Sandra. Yeah, I'm on Fifth Avenue.
All right, he seems to be pushing her around in front of her, like he's positioning her, like he knows what's going to happen next.
And they just closed Fifth Avenue coming south here at 30.
He's on his knee. This guy is proposing on top of the Empire State Building. Right? Are we seeing the same thing? I'm pretty sure that's what's happening. Now, let's see what happens next. If there's a hug or if she just jumps off, free falls to her death.
4th Street, heavy police presence.
What if she friend zones him right up here on top of the freaking Empire State Building? She's going to friend zone him.
At this point, more officers coming here. Over here, you can see in front of the Empire State Building.
Reacting? I honestly don't give a shit what this reporter is saying. I only want to try and break down what I'm viewing here from these two. Two people have climbed the Empire State Building, and one of them appears to be proposing to the other. All right, we're going to turn her down. All right, unless he's like, is he attaching a safety harness of some kind? No, she's kissing him. They're getting married. You guys, I think they just got engaged. Oh, hold on, pop up. This ain't good. This is what happens when you don't pay for YouTube. All right.
I love Kimberly's face.
Kimberly can't see what we're looking at, but we're looking at the back of the woman. Am I wrong?
Oh, I think that's what happened.
Hold on. Did they finally get it? Did they finally?
Gathering. They've closed the sidewalk on the west side of Fifth Avenue. But let me show you what's happening over here on the east side. A large crowd, everybody pointing up.
I'm going to interrupt you again, Kimberly.
Kimberly, shut up, Kimberly.
I'm not sure what I'm seeing, but it almost looks like he's proposing to this woman. up on this platform
Yes!
on the spire.
This dude is awesome.
I love Kimberly's
That's
face.
awesome.
People can't see what we're looking at, but we're looking at the back of the woman. Am I wrong?
He's kissing
Oh,
her.
I think that's what happened.
Oh, she took her mask
And now they're
off.
kissing, Kimberly.
Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. This is wild. And again, this was like 40 minutes ago. I promise you, I didn't see this. I just backed it up to where there was a good shot of the two of them, and we're just going from there. This is awesome.
To share this with you as bizarre a moment, New York City moment as I've ever seen.
I love this city.
Well,
Look at him.
And from where I am, guys, let me show you. I don't want to pan up. You can see the tippy top of that antenna, but we're down on 34th and
All right.
so you really can't
So are they done? Is this the big conclusion to the? We're gonna wake up early and we're gonna climb the Empire State Building. Now I'm not entirely sure how they got up there, right? Like I grew up in a city with skyscrapers, and every couple of years we had dudes come and try and climb our skyscrapers, and they always did it from the outside, and they scaled it all the way up. I do not know if these people scaled up the outside of the Empire State Building or if they went to the top of the Empire State Building. If you've ever been to the Empire State Building, it's wild. The roof is outdoors. When you go to the top of the Empire State Building, it's not like other large, well, I mean, I don't know what other buildings you've been in. I've been in a couple of other buildings in New York, the Transamerica Tower in San Francisco, and all the buildings here in Chicago. They're all enclosed, because you're super high and the winds are really dangerous. But the Empire State Building was made at a time when people didn't give a shit about stuff like that. So they've got this like open air roof thing that has fencing around it. So I'm wondering if they went up to the roof, the observation deck, the open air observation deck at the Empire State Building, and then maybe somehow got up from there. I don't know. I don't know if they climbed the whole thing. I don't think they have.
the folks, the two people from where I am, but look, this is the police presence down here. So when they come down, they're going to have a rude awakening, because I'm sure they will quickly be taken into custody.
These people are heroes. These people are heroes. Okay, let's frame this. If you're seeing this and you're like just angry about it, I'd like to know why. Why are you angry about it? This is fun. This isn't something that we have to worry about everybody doing. But if every once in a while some idiot wants to risk their life by doing something that the rest of us can go, oh, is he going to fall or not? That's fine by me. This is well, I mean, I suppose you could say in certain what if you fall? If you fell and you landed on somebody in the sidewalk? I imagine they got the sidewalk cleared by this point. There's no chance of that happening, right? It's really just their own risk. They're not doing anything. Hold on, let's keep going.
Again, look at all these folks over here.
I do want to know what the message is, right?
This whole corner, all four corners here at 34th and 5th is packed. Traffic again stopped going south on 5th Avenue, but
I gotta see this girl. I think I'm very attracted to her. From this far away, I am very attracted to her.
seems to going east to west on 34th Street. That's what it looks
That
like
looks to
down
me
here.
like
That's
a
what-
camera,
yes.
possibly a camera setup with a remote antenna. They could be broadcasting live to some.
Are they live stream? Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I'm wondering, like, because I thought that was a flagpole that they were going to unfurl something, but now because he proposed to her, I'm wondering if he filmed it. We're going to see this video. We'll see it. It'll go viral. It'll pay for their wedding and honeymoon, I'm sure.
Location, social media, or some other site that we don't know about, and I think they did that intentionally. They set that all up so that they would have that moment to videotape. Can we go back to?
Now she's
to Tom
TikToking or
Kaminsky?
whatever.
Tom, what are you making from where you're seeing from your point of view?
What is the charge for this? I'm wondering, like, what can happen? Hold on, let me ask AI. If I climb the Empire State Building in New York illegally and then climb to the very top of it and unfurl a banner, what kind of charges am I looking at? All right, let's see what AI says. If you climb the Empire State Building illegally to unfurl a banner, you are facing a severe combination of criminal charges. Yeah, but pedophiles run the streets free, especially if they're rich. Thousands of dollars in fines and potential multi-year prison sentences under New York law. None of that's going to happen to these people. These people are going to be celebrated online, and they'll be doing the tour of interviews and all of that kind of stuff, and they will certainly have to matriculate through the legal system, but everything's going to be minor. It's going to be a minor fine and a slap on the wrist. The New York Police Department and Manhattan District Attorney treat skyscraper stunts with extreme severity due to post 9/11 counterterrorism protocols. The physical danger to first responders and the high-profile nature of iconic city landmarks. Okay. The expected criminal charges based on past legal precedent involving urban climbers in Manhattan. The standard package of charges include they'll get criminal trespass, third or second degree, not sure. Reckless endangerment, second or first degree, again, not sure. Obstructing governmental administration. Yeah, that'll be thrown out. That's garbage. Criminal mischief, making graffiti, unfurling, tying, or taping a massive banner onto a property or damaging security barriers to get up there triggers property damage charges. All right. Disorderly conduct, a standard violation. Okay. All right, there you have it. All right, so they're looking at a bunch of bullshit little nuisance things.
Well, it certainly did look as though.
Yeah, let's get a close up on her. She looks
the
cute.
Man was proposing to the woman.
They'll be doing OnlyFans sex scenes by tonight. Watch, charging a premium for folks to watch them celebrate their nuptials.
I think Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce would have a hard time topping this. But at this point now, if that is in fact what just happened, well, the question is, what happens next, and how do you top that? I'm going to.
Well, I think that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce need to invite these two to their wedding. I think that's a nice little stunt that they can do. Because God knows Taylor Swift is always looking for more attention.
Just checking to see if there's any other NYPD presence a little bit farther down on this antenna. But they
all right,
are now
so let's
at least on
fast forward a little bit here, see where they are, if they're still climbing or if they're coming down.
I just want to get a better sense of how far up they are at this point. It's still a long way to go.
Oh, yeah.
Are they climbing
And then
down?
they have to make their way down off of that part there, which I can't even imagine how they got on it there. There must be some kind of.
Yeah,
I don't even see them. Is this them right here? I don't know. I can't see them.
Inside area. See where that band is right there?
Yeah,
That's actually
Where are they?
there
a
are
catwalk
access
in
doors
there.
for the
And you
maintenance
see
crew right
officers
there.
on that narrow catwalk.
Now that had
I've
to have been
there.
closed by security. That could not have been accessed. And I see NYPD there. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yes.
Yeah, clearly.
You know what? I have to say, I haven't been to the Empire State Building in 20 years. Maybe they changed it from what I described. The open air. It used to be open air. It doesn't look like that anymore.
'Cause that's
Then
where
again,
they
I don't
have
know
to
that I've
come.
ever seen it
There's a
this
room
close
there.
from this
The big question,
perspective.
how did they get to that space?
They apparently did the research.
Where are they?
Someone's going to have to answer that question,
I mean, this is a cop, right?
because that should not be accessed by anybody, obviously. You wonder if they had some inside information, they would just did the research and figured a way to do it, or they got lucky.
All right, let's jump ahead. Let's see where
They wouldn't let us out into the observation tower, the outside of it. So originally they were just keeping us inside, but they let us out for maybe
All right, so I guess this kid is saying there is still an outside part of the observation.
2 minutes. I got a few videos and pictures of the people up there, but then a few cops came out and immediately made us go inside.
What did you think?
I thought those guys are crazy for doing that.
What's your name?
Grant.
All right, thank you, Grant.
Again, this is a live look. One of the side entrances to the Empire State Building. You see an NYPD officer here manning the door. Is
Are they going to perp
not
walk
sure.
these two?
asked to evacuate, obviously, during this emergency situation. David and Sandra?
Hey, Dalla, just definitely look out for some of the people who are on that observation deck of the 864. We showed video of a sizable group of people who were out there looking before the police were able to remove everybody from that area for safety. I imagine they have some pretty good stories to tell and good eyewitnesses to this event.
Billy says, what are the Kelce odds they parachute down? Wouldn't that be cool if they just base jumped? That'd be pretty cool. These two are awesome. In my book, they're
Come on
awesome.
down here, David. Help me track them down and all these people.
I wish I could. I wish I could.
Help me track them down. There's a lot of people to ask.
I
Yes,
know.
we're working on it.
All right,
Yes.
Donna, thank you.
All of this really playing out here live on TV for the last hours, just after 12, when we first noticed that man and that woman who had apparently successfully climbed to the very top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, we're talking 1,400.
What did they do? Like, hold on. Let me go back to the very beginning. Here's the beginning of the coverage of this. I want to see if maybe we can see the banner they did. Here's how it starts.
Later in parts of the forecast ahead. I'm just wondering how long they could. Have you encountered something that has gone on for days like this?
Yeah, so in that days, but certainly 8 to 15 hours, stuff like that, and see how long they can go. And if they have a plan, are they going to carry this into the evening hours? Right. And like you said, it's a hot day. You see.
I can't over here on the left in this box. I guess they're showing the flag or the banner they unfurled. I don't know what it says though.
The observation towers now at this point, because if they do fall, God forbid, that's probably where they'll end up. But they're a real danger right now.
All right, you know what? This is kind of what AI is for, right? Let's ask AI. The two people who climbed the Empire State Building on July 1st, 2026, what did the banner say that they unfurled? Or was it a flag? And if so, what was it a flag of? All right, here we go. See if AI can answer this. The two individuals who scaled the spire of the well, we can probably start that again.
To the public down below. And that's the overriding thing here.
All right, we'll watch them up there. The two individuals who scaled the spire of the Empire State Building unfurled a large black banner with white all capital lettering that read, "When the power of love beats the power." Okay, hold on. I want to get this right because apparently these are some deep thinkers. Let me get this right. Here is what the banner says according to AI. When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. The quote is a famous anti-war and pro-peace statement traditionally attributed to icon Jimi Hendrix. All right. I gotta be honest, you guys. I got no issue with these people. One, they're fun. She seems hot. They didn't go up there and make some awful statement that was going to polarize. Who's against that statement? That statement seems very nice. When the power... Okay, let me get this again. Let me make sure I say this again because, I'm going to have it tattooed on my forehead. When the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. I love that. I love these two. I don't know anything about them. The banner described by media outlets as a black banner or flag. It was flown right at the top of the building's 1,454-foot radio tower antenna. Law enforcement and social media posts indicated the daredevils are known extreme stunt artists. Oh, we've got real information on them. Angela Nicolau and Ivan Birkus. Are these foreigners? Are these like weird, broken Eastern European people who came over here? Hot, young Eastern, weird European people who came over here and are just like, they're like equal parts Brooklyn hipster, but also like Eastern European madmen. Crazy, not madmen like the TV show. I mean, like crazy people. All right, let's see. Hold on. I am more interested in the female who has been tentatively identified by AI as Angela Nicolau. All right, let's see if we can get a picture of her. Okay. All right. I was right. I am good at spotting hot. I apparently spotted hot from like far away. Oh, there's what it says. There's the banner. All right. Let's check out these two, shall we? Because we have pictures of them. Apparently they are known climbers. All right, here you go. This is going to be Angela Nicolau. Let's see. Here she is. There she is. Okay, how do we make this bigger? That's what she said. There we go. Look at her. That's her. Yeah, man. I was right. I know hot. I can smell hot through a live stream. She's a very attractive young lady. Very attractive young. Look at her. There's more of her. Oh, look at her. She has fun. She has fun. It looks like they go around the world. Pictures. She's doing yoga. She's like doing yoga. This is okay. These people, they're going to die tragically. Like neither of them will reach 40 years old, I don't believe. But whatever. They're living their life to the fullest. Let's see here. AI, can you tell me more about Ivan Birkis and Angela Nicolau? Where are they from? All right, let's see. I called Eastern Europe. Moscow. They're both from Moscow. They're both Russians. Do I know I do. Both Ivan, whose actual birth name is Ivan Artemovich Kuznetsov. Yeah, that's his real name. And Angela Nicolau. They're both from Moscow. Ivan was born in Moscow in 94. So 26 and 6 is 32. He started roof-topping, which is illegal climbing of skyscrapers without a safety gear, as a teenager and gained massive global attention on Instagram. Angela, however, born in Moscow in 93, she's the daughter of a professional circus performer. She used her background in rhythmic gymnastics and circus acrobatics to become the world's most prominent female extreme climber. The couple first met online. Of course they did, because that's how people meet now. The couple first met online after Angela followed Ivan's climbing page. They began scaling structures together all over the world, a journey that was heavily featured in the 2024 Netflix documentary Skywalkers, A Love Story. Guess what I'm watching tonight? That's right. I'll be checking out Skywalkers, A Love Story. So apparently these people aren't just two randos. There are people who know exactly what they're doing. Let's go back to it. Let's go back to the video. Well, we should go up to live time maybe on the video. Again, two people have climbed the Empire State Building. Two hot people, two very hot Russians, come over here climbing our building. Buildings. All right, let's go to the end. Let's see where we're at live now. What are they saying? Did they come down? Did we get a perp? Live stream's over. Did they come down? Hold on. All right, this is, I guess, more of the wedding, or the engagement, I should say. All right, and this dude's doing weather. Yeah, I bet it's hot up there. I bet it's hot and windy up there, too. All right, I think that's going to do it. I don't know. I assume they've been arrested. I assume, something, because at some point they got to come through a door where there's going to be cops, like waiting on the other side going, yeah, we've been waiting for you. Very cool. There's my guy. Jesus, man! What the hell, Peter? Holy shit! Peter, you cannot be as actively engaged in my life every single day and it just disappear. You got me out here. I'm stalking Facebook pages. I'm like, what is he? Is he okay? Is he okay? All right. Thank you, Peter. I'm glad you're back. Glad you're back. Good Lord. What, did you get banned or something? Would you say something? As far as the quote, Hugh's a very smart guy. I've broken bread and tipped a few with Hugh in the past. He's a very intelligent man, very well-read gentleman. He says that's a Bob Marley quote. I don't know. AI says it's Hendrix. So. Look at her. Look, my God. Look, apparently I'm the guy who doesn't know. Jen does. Wasn't there a documentary about them doing free solo climbing together? There sure was. And I'm going to watch it tonight because these people are crazy. I'm sorry. Al. I told you he was fine. Well, you didn't know. Like, you didn't offer anything other than, don't worry about it. That was all you offered. You didn't give me anything to keep me, from losing sleep over the whereabouts of one Peter. Well, Peter, Peter, very nice. Thanks for being concerned. There's like 15 of you who've been around for 5 years. And yes, I have still not recovered from losing Jeff. Remember Jeff? I used to have a picture of Jeff behind me. I don't know what happened to Jeff. Jeff's gone. Not Jeff Ballard. He was replaced by Jeff Ballard. We got rid of one Jeff. Didn't want to get rid of him. Don't know what happened to Jeff. Dad used to look at that picture. Remember, he sent me a picture of the early shows. I had a little picture of Jeff behind me. Jeff's gone. Jeff's just never to be seen again. So thank you, Peter. I'm glad that you're back. I do get worried. Some people I don't get worried. Like, some people are gone and they're gone for a reason. And it's like, let's just not mention that. Al says, I told you yesterday that I reached out to him. I don't remember it. Well, I didn't see that. I'm certain that you did yesterday say that and let me know, but I didn't see it. I'm sorry. I apologize. All right. So there you have it. We had a whole lot of fun regarding hot people climbing tall buildings in New York City. It's very hot in New York City, but it did remind me, I told you growing up here in Chicago, we were always very proud of our buildings. We've got buildings, oh, you think you got buildings? We got buildings. Like when I was little, not anymore, because the Middle Easterners and the Southeast Asians, they've, figured out how to make buildings really tall and put them up really quick. Don't need regulations over there. So you can just throw these things up. Anyway, they're now the world leader, right? The Middle East and Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Singapore. They're the world leader in buildings. It used to be America. It used to be Chicago and New York. We used to duke it out, right? Chicago had an advantage in the skyscraper race. People talk about how beautiful the Chicago skyline is. Well, there were two things that happened. One, the city of Chicago burnt down. The entire city of Chicago burnt down. You want to talk about a reclamation project? They just had nothing. They had to clear out all the shit that burned down, and then they were just left with ruins. Okay, so that happened. At the very same time that happened, skyscraper technology came into existence. So when Chicago rebuilt after the fire, they didn't rebuild like they would have a few years earlier. They rebuilded in the modern way of building up. So that's why we've always been very proud of our skyscraper. It is believed that the very first skyscraper ever built was right here in Chicago. The building still stands. I've been in the building. It's not a skyscraper by today's standards, but it's like 30 stories, and that's pretty big for like 1901. So anyway, we like our buildings. We're very proud of our buildings. And over my life growing up, we always had dudes come through Chicago trying to climb our buildings, whether it's the Sears Tower or the John Hancock. For some reason, the John Hancock, which wasn't even the tallest building in Chicago, but was like the third tallest building in the world at the time, people were coming here to climb the Hancock. I don't know if it's an easier thing. I'm not a climber, but it seemed like it was always the Hancock. One guy in particular captured my imagination as a young man. His name was Spider Dan Goodman. I don't know if you guys remember. Is it Goodman or Goodwin? Holy shit. I don't know. All right, now I got to ask AI. Hold on. Let me ask AI. My childhood memories are fading me. The guy who tried to climb the John Hancock Center in 81, was that Spider Dan Goodman or Spider Dan Goodwin? All right, here we go. It's one of those two. We knew the Spider Dan part. That part we had cold. AI struggling with an answer for this one. Buffering. Doesn't matter. Anyway, this guy, he tried to climb. It's seriously still buffering. What is happening? I don't care. Doesn't matter. We're going to call him Spider Dan. Spider Dan tried to climb the Hancock building back in like 1980, 1981. And I remember watching it on TV because the local news, just as they did today in New York, the local news covered it. Spider Dan, he would dress like Spider-Man. And then he would start from the outside base of the building and he would just go and like shimmy it up. Shimmy it up, not skimmy it up. You just shimmy it up. So here's what happened with Spider Dan. What is the problem with somebody climbing a building, right? Like what's the danger? There's danger to him. Of course, you could fall. That's crazy. But then I guess there's also like a danger to people on the ground. You could fall on them, right? That's lesser because, once a guy gets like 30 stories up, you're figuring you're clearing the sidewalks. You're making sure that nobody, right? So anyway, it's really just about danger to him, right? So Spider Dan Goodwin, he made his way up this is how crazy it used to be. When I tell you that we had no rules in the 70s and 80s, this is a shining example of how we had no rules. All right, so Spider Dan is probably 40, 50 stories up on the outside of the Hancock. And They were like, hey, get down from here. Like all the cops and a bunch of firemen were a few floors above them, hanging out windows going, you got to go down. This is dangerous for you. You could fall, or whatever they were saying to him. In steps a guy by the name of William Blair. If you're a Chicagoan, especially a Chicagoan who enjoys our history, you might know the name William Blair. He was our disgraced fire department chief. William Blair got so upset at the idea that Dan Goodman was trying to climb the outside of the John Hancock Center, putting his life in danger. William Blair was so upset by this that he had the windows opened up ahead of Spider Dan where he was climbing and decided to try and wash him off the building with fire hoses. That's right. Because it was so dangerous for him, they decided to knock him off the fucking building. No rules. There were no rules back in the 80s. Now, you pugs, that can't possibly be true. How can you be saying that? Well, let's go to the tape. Yeah, it was all on live TV. I am sitting there as like, what, a 10-year-old kid watching this unfold on the news with my grandpa. I remember this, watching this with my grandpa. And my grandpa was, he didn't like anything that was like this. You know, my grandpa was like, look at this son of a bitch, probably a damn hippie. Get him off the bill. Like, that was my grandpa's attitude towards this whole thing. Meanwhile, I'm a kid. There's someone dressed like Spider-Man climbing the outside of a building. I'm down, right? So I'm watching it. And then the fire hoses came out. And I remember my grandpa going, hey, that's how you handle it. Because he was a man. He was a man who had survived the Depression and World War II. So, you know, he had some views and some attitudes and some reflexes that maybe aren't 2026 compatible, but still, he was very down with William Blair sticking the fire hoses out the window of the building and trying to wash Spider Dan down. Not everybody was. The chief of police at the time, a guy by the name of Richard Brezek, he lost his shit on the fire chief. It became a whole thing. Anyway, we can watch it. This is how we used to handle people who would climb buildings. Certainly how we handled it in Chicago. This one goes back, I think I said 81. It turns out that, yes, it is. It's 1981. How great is that? I was right. I remember my childhood. All right, so here, let's pick it up from here. The coverage of Spider Dan. You're going to see something that would never happen. In fact, it got the guy in trouble for doing it back in 1981. But anyway, here it is. The story of Spider Dan, who climbed the John Hancock building in 1981, and the fire department decided to try and wash him off the side of the building with high-powered fire hoses. Oh, okay, never mind. Got no sound. Here's the sound.
1981, Dan began climbing up the side of the John Hancock
No way
Center.
that anybody's going to be able to catch it.
But Chicago Fire Commissioner William Blair had his own idea of how to stop.
He sure did.
I look up. To my horror, I couldn't believe it. I see this guy with a fire hose aiming it right at me.
With Dan clinging to the side of the 37th floor, 338 feet in the air.
Do you see the fire hoses blasting him? Remember, the problem with him doing this is that he could fall. That's the problem. He could fall. This is dangerous. He could fall. So in order to make sure he doesn't fall, they decide to wash him off the building with fire hoses. No rules. There were no rules in the 1980s.
Blair gave a controversial order to turn the fire hoses on Dan.
These guys are actually trying to knock me off the building.
Chicago Police Superintendent Richard Brezek arrived at the scene.
I'm trying to find out who gave that order. When I got up to the 38th floor where the fire commissioner was, I went up to him and I said, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? And he proceeded to explain to me that Goodwin uses suction cups, and they were trying to make it difficult for him to go up.
But Dan wasn't using suction cups. He was clamped onto the side of the building.
He had been on suction cups. He probably would be dead right now. He probably would be dead right now.
I thought for sure he was a goner. I really thought.
We all did. We're watching it on live TV and we're like, oh, that's a fire hose. He's gonna fall like 50 stories to his death. And then what? Will the fire chief be like, job well done?
That this was it. That I was going to die, but I wanted to die at least fight.
Dan hung on for life. Superintendent Brezek and Commissioner Blair battled over Dan's fate.
I asked him to look down. He had his fire trucks parked on the sidewalk. And I told him that I control the tow trucks, not to tow his fire trucks or being illegally parked.
The crowds are starting. The crowds are starting.
Do you hear that? So the fire chief and the police chief got into a beef about the tactics the fire chief had decided to go with, which was turning fire hoses on the guy climbing the outside of the Hancock building. And because the fire chief apparently didn't see anything wrong with that and was willing to, puff up his chest to the police chief is like, all right, well, I control the tow trucks in this town and we're going to tow all your fire trucks. The 80s. There were no rules.
People are freaking out.
At that point, Superintendent Brezek read a court order prohibiting Dan from climbing any further. But Dan ignored the order, and Mayor
He did. Let me talk to him. Hey, kid, the Honorable Judge Winston Jefferson III has decreed on this day that what you're doing is illegal and you got to stop. And Dan's just like, yeah, no.
Jane Byrne was called in to settle the high-rise, high-profile problem order.
All right, so this is Mayor Jane Byrne. She was called into action, and she goes to one of these windows and has a conversation with him. And wait till you hear what the conversation was between the mayor of the city of Chicago and
Mayor
Spider
Jane
Dan
Byrne
Goodwin.
was called in to settle the high-rise, high-profile problem.
As I pulled up, there was a huge crowd on the east side of the Hancock. And I thought, boy, what a mess. And I rode up. And I looked out the window when I got there, and perched like a bird, right beneath me was Dan.
Those ladies' heads, and it turned out it was the mayor of the city.
I said, do you realize you're breaking a law? Yes. I said, are you willing to go up at your own risk with no culpability to the city? Yes. And I thought, that's it. And I thought, that's it.
And there he goes.
Go!
And there he goes. Nearly 6 hours after he began.
All right, there you have it. That's how we handled it in Chicago. I love it. The mayor's like, you gonna sue us if you fall? No. All right, fine. Let him climb. Whatever. He's up there. Let him climb. People are enjoying it. That was awesome. Anyway, let me know in the chat room if there's any sort of update on the two cool ass people who climbed the Empire State Building and unfurled a really nice banner. Oh, it's a really nice banner. It was a nice banner. Again, they climbed to the top of the Empire State Building, unfurled a banner that said something nice. It was something about love and power and love and peace. All right. It was nice. It wasn't, Trump, wasn't that. It wasn't Israel was murdering genocide. It wasn't that. It was just kind of, it was nice. And then they climbed down and then he proposed to her. Oh, what a day. What a day. They're getting married. Yeah, and again, apparently the two people who climbed the Empire State Building today that we've been covering since the start of the show, good 50 minutes now, those people are featured in a Netflix documentary, something about the climb of love. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but something like that. The climb of love. Okay. All right, there you have it. That's fun. Good way to start the day. Good way to start the day. It's not a good way to start the day. What is going on with this freaking heat, you guys? Holy crap. Now, you may be like, well, Pugs, you just can't be happy. You were arguing or upset last week that there hasn't been any warm weather in summer so far. No, that's not what I was complaining about last week. What I was complaining about last week was that we hadn't even had any days in like the mid 80s. That it was just the summer so far, the entire month of June here in Chicago has been like mid to high 70s and low 80s and rain and tornadoes. Over 200 tornadoes already in the state of Illinois this season. It has been weird. It turned on a dime. It was like 98 degrees yesterday here in Chicago. That's that old people weather. Yeah, we back in like the 90s, I think we went over 100. I think it was like Mother effer. We can't do this every day. We can't do this every day. I got to get off this platform. Every single day, Restream does this. I don't get it. It's so upsetting. How long? Yeah, I've been off for a fucking while, huh, guys? How long? At least a couple of minutes. All right. That's all right. Here, let me, we'll just talk weather again. Let's go back into it. Here's a heat map. It is crazy hot. It's crazy hot here. What is the current temperature? Let's say, oh boy, look at that. Let me see here. The current temperature, as I speak to you here on the south side of Chicago. Oh no. Oh, really? Look at this. No, you can't really see that. All right. It's 96. It's 96 already. It's 1 o'clock. 96. Going to go up to 97. 98. It looks like we're going to top out today at 98 degrees. When I said I wanted summer, I didn't mean this. I didn't mean Hades. What I meant was I would like a couple of days where we touch 90. I would like a couple of days where we can look at each other and go, we should go to the beach. It'll be nice to take a cool dip in the lake. You can't do that when it's 100 degrees. You can't even be on the beach. You know how hot the sand is? No, thank you. All right, let's look at this heat map. This is what's happening here across the US of A. All right, so New Orleans currently, so the big hotspots, New Orleans 100, Houston 100, Jackson 103, Memphis 103, Louisville 103, Columbus, Ohio 105 degrees. Holy crap. Dead bodies coming to Columbus. Columbus, Ohio does not handle. It ain't built for 105 degrees. It ain't. It's built for 15 inches of snow in a 24-hour period. They can totally not even close schools on that. 105 degrees in Columbus. Chicago clocking in right now at 99. Milwaukee at 99. Where is the hot spot here? The hot spot here in America appears to be, holy crap, it is Columbus, Ohio at 105 degrees. Dallas clocking in at 97. How is Chicago hotter in July than Dallas? That's not a thing. All right, where's it all coming from? Well, I don't know. I guess I like to think that the weather travels this way, like sort of from. I think that most of the weather that affects us here in Chicago in the Midwest, most of our weather, I feel like it comes from the southwest up to the northeast. But I do also know that there is a northwest to southeast kind of thing that comes from the top. So I'm trying to look here. All right, 90s, 80s. Here's the good news for us here in Chicago. I don't know about for you down there in Dallas where you're currently experiencing 97. Here in Chicago, we got 99. It ain't going to last long because we're going to have torrential thunderstorms just in time for 4th of July. Yeah. Oh, the weekend's going to be washed out. It's going to drop down into the 70s, and we're just going to storm from like Friday all the way through Monday. Happy 4th of July. All right. Hope you guys have, well, honestly, 105 degrees on the 4th of July in Texas. That ain't nothing. This is where Texans and New Mexicoians, and this is where you laugh at the rest of us. It's okay. It's okay. We laugh at you when you do your whole snowpocalypse dance, right? Where you're like, we can't have school for the next 3 months because it was 40 for 3 days. All right. Yeah, I know. We can toughen up with the heat, and y'all can toughen up with the snow. All right. So that's the heat situation that's going on. Let's see. What else are we going to talk about here? Oh, here. I'm not going to go into this, but I've seen 3 different stories this morning already about this. We banning pregnant women? Is that a thing? Did you see this story? Apparently it's being floated that if you want to come to this country, if you want to visit, you can't be pregnant now. We're gonna ban pregnant ladies from coming to the country. The whole anchor baby thing. Okay. I just want to say I've heard that 3 different places today. That is absolutely absurd. If you're pregnant and you're a French lady and you want to attend a friend from college's wedding in Santa Barbara, nope, you can't come now. It's also stupid. It is also stupid and reactionary. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Speaking of reactionary, did you see this? There's a new disease. They tried to scare us with Ebola a couple of weeks ago. Remember that? And then there wasn't there like a hantavirus scare just before that, right? See, they understand that there is mileage now. We get scared. We get freaked out by the prospect of some new pandemic or some new disease. So they know they can sell commercial time around the idea of, we're going to tell you about the new virus that's spreading after these words from Carnival Cruise Lines. Like they know they can do that. So every little flare up anywhere is always going to be, promoted as a new virus has been found. So anyway, they had us all scared with Ebola. Here's what I want to know. A couple of weeks ago, Ebola, I read all the headlines. We even talked about it a few times on the show. A few weeks ago, Ebola was having the worst outbreak in African history. Remember, townspeople were like gathering around Ebola shelters where people with Ebola were being treated, and they were just burning these things down to the ground. Remember that? And it was spreading to Europe, and it was spreading to America, and oh my God, Ebola is back. Well, what the hell happened? Did we cure Ebola, or did media just decide, yeah, we're not going to talk about that anymore? It's still going on, but anyway, we got a new one. And I'm going to attempt to scare us all with it because this is not a fun one. The CDC is now warning, by the way, 20 states currently being affected by this. Texas and Illinois, 2 of them 20. CDC is warning about the parasite Cyclospora cayetanestinin. I don't know what the hell. I'm going to try that again. Got to be honest, I felt pretty good about 75% of the pronunciation. And then at the last 25, I just went, no. Too many words, too many letters that didn't seem like they should go together. All right, here's what it's called. Cyclospora cayetanensis. Cyclospora cayetanensis. It's explosive diarrhea. Yeah, that's right. There's a virus going around. 20 states are affected. We're all getting explosive diarrhea. All the kids are doing it. The parasite, which causes an intestinal illness called cyclosporaceus. The CDC is investigating the ongoing outbreak. It is primarily spread through contaminated food or water and is not typically contagious from person to person. Key details of the outbreak: there are currently 145 confirmed cases of explosive diarrhea reported across 20 states. In those 20 states, or here's how they hospitalized. Everybody, there's somebody in a hospital in 20 states that is suffering from this. Here are the states that are most affected. Okay, so I'm not going to run down all 20, but the cases that are most affected, are you ready? New York, Illinois, and Texas. That's right. New York, Illinois, and Texas. The East Coast, the middle, and the South. That's right. So here are some of the symptoms you got to be looking out for. And can I just say, and this might fall into the TMI, but I am currently battling with a situation that could be generously termed loose stool. I am. Since last night. And then I read this story this morning and I'm like, do I have Cyclospora cayetanensis? Do I have the explosive diarrhea disease? Here are the symptoms. Sometimes they are very severe. Explosive, watery diarrhea, cramping, nausea, vomiting, and prolonged fatigue. All right, let's see here. I wouldn't term my current situation as explosive, okay? Although, too much information. Never mind. I'm not going to give you too much. I'm not going to do that. I'll just say that after one trip, I did have to clean the toilet. That's right. I did. I had to clean it. So maybe there was some explosives. I don't know. Let's see what else. The duration of this illness can last for a few days to over a month, and typically it'll just resolve itself and then return again. So there's nothing they can do for it. You either got it or you don't. You can't catch it from people. You either ate something or were exposed to something that seems to be more common now than maybe it was in the past, because a lot of people are getting it. And once again, 20 people, 20 different states, or at least 20 states have people hospitalized with it. The source, investigators have no clue. Like, we don't know. Investigators have not yet pinpointed the exact contaminated items, but are actively working to find the source. So there you have it. If you got the explosive diarrhea, you might be one of the people who are affected by this. All right. Let's see. What else do we want to do? Oh, okay. All right. So this is, we'll get into a little thing here. I want to show you one of my, this guy irritates me more than anyone else. Do you guys know this congressman? Look, this Congressman Troy Nehls, all right, he's one of yours. He's a Texan, although he's not, because he's not a Texan. Born and raised in Wisconsin. He's a Yankee. He's just cosplaying as a Texan because he found out that he could win an election there. He's not even from Texas, but I'll tell you, man, this guy he's like Ted Cruz. They lean into it. I have lived in Texas since 2001. I would never presume to call myself a Texan. I have Texas-like sensibilities from being, neck deep in the culture for so long, but I'm not a Texan. You don't get to call yourself that. Ted Cruz does, so does Troy Nehls. Anyway, Troy Nehls, listen to this. I think this is from TMZ. Yeah, maybe it is. I'm not sure exactly. But TMZ now has a Washington, D.C. office, so they're just going around stopping people and talking to them. They caught up. No, this is not. This is not. Okay, it's not TMZ. But here he comes, Texas Congressman Troy Nehls, who so many of you people probably support. Let's just give it a listen. Let's give a listen to the guy from the Badger State who now pretends to be a Texan.
Texas, real quick, how do House Republicans make...
I just said the Badger State, and I was like, wait, is that Minnesota? No, they're Gophers. Minnesota's Gophers. Wisconsin's Badgers.
The case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Well, affordability is the big...
All right, so he was asked by this reporter, when you go back to your district, how do you tell your constituents that you are fighting for affordability? Affordability. Shit's expensive, man. Shit's really expensive.
Texas, real quick, how do House Republicans make the case that you're fighting for affordability when you go back to your districts?
Affordability? What are you talking about?
Well, affordability is the big...
I'm going to go there tomorrow. Over the 4th. I'm going to get me a couple big lobster tails. I'm going to get me some nice ribeyes. I'm going to sit in my backyard with my...
Affordability? What are you talking about? 4th of July, I'm going to give me some lobster tails. I'm going to sit in the backyard.
Family, my neighbors, and we're going to be enjoying the 4th, celebrating 250 years, the birthday.
These fuckers have no respect for the working man. None whatsoever. You answer a question about affordability for the average American, something that is very important right now, because as I said, ground beef is $11 a pound. You're asked a question and you can't respond like a human being. You can't respond like a diesel. No, what he's going to do is double down in the opposite view, which is I'm going to give me affordability. I'm rich. I'm going to have lobster tails, and they are mocking us. They are laughing at our struggles.
We're going to be celebrating the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald J. Trump. Maybe watch some fireworks. Won't be up here. It's going to be too hot, right? And I'm in bed at 11 o'clock. I heard the fireworks ain't going off till 11 o'clock Eastern on the 4th of July. I probably have to sleep through that one. But listen, everybody understands. You're going to see a little increase in energy prices because...
Everybody understands. It's going to be more expensive. We're fine with it. I'm having lobster this weekend, so honestly, it's not really affecting me because I'm a corrupt congressman, and this is the glory days for corrupt congressmen. Man, all you got to do is get in line behind the orange pumpkin, and your coffers are going to be overflowing with illicit funds.
Of Iran. I mean, come on, people aren't stupid. You realize that when you have a conflict Iran. But I think in the end, this short-term increase in some of the costs of energy, gasoline and stuff, is temporary.
Just temper. Don't worry about it. Yes, I know it's been since February and we are entering into like the 6th month of this bullshit, but it's temporary. And if you're rich like him and can afford lobster tails, you are perfectly suited to be able to ride this temporary. You can ride it out.
But President Trump has made it very clear to these companies, don't be gouging, no price gouging. I mean, energy, what? Oil was at $69 the other day, 72 today. I mean, the prices got to come down. Don't take advantage of the American people. To me, it's almost criminal.
Oh, yeah, now he's on our side. He put his lobster tail down to now.
So we got to do that. We have to do that. And I think that the overall goal...
The fucker made a choice to say lobster, knowing full well that lobster is something that is always associated with elite dining, with rich people. I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, what do you got? How do you explain to your constituents back in your district about the Republicans' reluctance to get behind affordability action or whatever it was that they said? What are you talking about, affordability? I'm going to go home for the 4th of July and I'm going to eat lobster tails. And affordability for me? He's mocking us. He's mocking us. And so many of you line up behind these people.
Objective is to make sure Iran never has a nuclear weapon. So I'm okay with the increase in fuel because you knew it was going to happen with oil and the Strait and everything. But it's a temporary issue.
You think the 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck can afford lobster tails?
Do you think 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck can afford lobster tails and ribeyes and all? Okay, so this is the question.
Ribeyes and all of that?
Maybe not. Maybe the 60% of America don't work as hard as I do either. I mean, I don't.
Maybe they don't work as hard as he does. Because we know how hard congressmen work. He couldn't even show a bit of compassion. He couldn't even say, look, I understand times are tough, man, and people are struggling, and it is... No. He accuses people, the 60% of Americans, he accuses them of not working hard enough. That's the reason. It's not that there's no jobs for anyone over 40. It's not that everything is unnecessarily super expensive now because we're in a war that we shouldn't have entered in the first place. No. You are struggling because you're not working as hard as Troy Nehls. That's what he fucking just said. You heard it. Now, why does a guy like him feel so free to speak in such a way? Well, for one reason, because you people will reelect your congressman every time because you saw him at a Little League banquet or because there was a pancake breakfast and he tussled little Tommy's hair. He's got your vote forever because he's a nice guy. It's everybody else's congressmen who are shit. Your congressman, you need to vote for someone new because your congressman sucks. Not mine. Mine's Troy Nehls. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons why these people are now allowed to speak this way, because he knows the rank morons in his district are going to reelect him no matter what. No matter what, because he makes it okay for them to be jackasses, because he's a jackass. And quite frankly, whatever struggle the rural people of his isn't he out there by Tyler or something? Whatever struggles it is that they're going through, well, that's just the waterline for them. People have struggled their whole life. So, at some point, you just stop thinking things can get better and you just support people who allow you to be fucking a jerk. And that's exactly what Troy Nehls is. And that's why he's always going to get reelected. That's absurd. How people are broke. How do you respond to that? I'm going to have lobster. Well, what do you say to people, 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck? Well, maybe they're not working as hard as me. These are statements that would have ended people's public life forever 10 years ago. And now he is so freaking comfortable again because one, his constituents are morons. Anybody that would have voted for him in the first place is a complete idiot. So he knows that his constituency are a bunch of morons, a bunch of inbred freaks. He knows that, so he can be terrible because they're terrible and they like terrible. And that's why he's free to say this shit. It doesn't matter that normal people all over the rest of the country hear this and go, that guy's a jackass, because he's only speaking to two specific groups. One, the constituents who are garbage people who elected him in the first place. And two, the fucking president of the United States, who is also a garbage person. So why does he also feel comfortable saying these kinds of things? Well, let's take a look. Here's why. Here it is. Here's the guy whose balls he's gargling. Let's take a look at this, a little montage of things that President Trump has said on the same subject of people are struggling and how do you help them. Let's check in with the president. Here we go.
There's so much talk about, we're going to drive housing prices down. I don't want to drive housing prices down. I want to drive housing prices up. There's so much talk about,
all right, there's one.
I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. I don't think about...
Doesn't care.
Will you sign that housing bill?
I have not. It hasn't been sent to me yet. It's coming, I understand, and then I'll make it. Here's what I would like to sign. Much more than a bill, that big deal. It's a yawn.
It's a yawn.
It's wonderful.
It's bipartisan, and it's going to help people. The right and the left agree that this is something that can provide relief. It's a big yawn. It's a big yawn.
To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn. Elections.
What are your plans for the housing bill, Mr. President?
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant by compared to the Save America Act. I think
all right, there you go. It's so unimportant compared to the thing that I'm trying to get passed so that I can rig elections. Absolute garbage, man. This is not a political thing. It has nothing to do with Republicanism or Democrats or any. It has to do with just being a piece of shit human being and not giving a fuck about the rest of us who are struggling more and more every day. Enjoy your lobster, Troy. You know, if you truly were working hard, it's funny, he says that. How do you respond to 60% of Americans who are living paycheck to paycheck? Well, maybe they're not working as hard as me. Well, I'll tell you this, Troy, those 60%, they aren't taking the entire 4th of July weekend off. They're working. So tell me again about how you're working harder than the average struggling American. I cannot believe that was said. This is also the asshole who does interviews with his fucking pinky ring. Have you ever seen that? He wears a pinky ring. Now, I always say I am a terrific judge of character. I can look at a person and size them up. I can read their soul within 30 seconds of interacting with them. And if you're wearing a pinky ring, guess what? Guess what? Huge red flag. He's also the guy, the pinky ring, and the giant cigar, the giant black dick in his mouth every opportunity, because for some reason sucking on a big black phallus is alpha to these clowns. Hey, see my pinky ring. Yeah, work harder. I'm gonna have some lobster. How about you? You should be angry. You should be angry at the fearlessness of saying something so inherently awful about the working middle class of America. That's who that guy is. You're not working hard enough. Just remember. Well, I know I'm not, because I don't have any opportunities to work. There are no fucking jobs, Troy. Enjoy your lobster, you son of a bitch. Fuck you, Frank. You know what? Pugs doesn't know. I know all about Troy Nels. Yes, he was a soldier. He was a fucking psycho soldier, and he was a bad cop. Frank, are you one of these people that, well, just because he was a soldier? I worked for veterans charities for years, and do you know some of the most reprehensible people I've ever met also happen to be veterans? Do you think that just because you're a veteran that you're somehow now like the fucking Pope, you're infallible? Terrible people get sent to war all the time, Frank, just because Troy Nels is a cop and a former... How stupid is that? Well, Pugs is completely wrong in everything that he's saying about the words that just came out of Troy Nell's mouth. Pugs is completely wrong because he must not know that he was a cop and an Army guy. Fuck you. God, that's stupid. That is so simplistic. Hitler was an Army guy too. Hitler was a war veteran. He fought bravely for his country. Seriously. Like every veteran or every cop and every veteran in Frank's mind, and I come from a cop family, every veteran and every cop in Frank's mind is what? Somehow absolved of any bad behavior? That's absurd. You're silly. All right, here's Frank again. Pugs doesn't, Troy doesn't know where his district, my friend, were. Frank is furious, and this is what happens when you're fucking troll posting. I actually know a lot about him, read all about him today, because that fucking video that I just played for you made me hit the roof. That was fun. All right, very good. All right, I got the dopamine going. That was good. Thank you, Frankie. Appreciate it. You set me off. I went off like a Roman candle. Maddie says, yeah, my congressman is an ex-vet and cop too, and he's a piece of shit too. Like, how does that, what? Well, do you know that he used to run a Blockbuster? Oh, I changed my mind. Oh, he was one of those honorable Blockbuster franchisees? Oh, okay, Frank. Thanks. You're reacting. Frank is reacting to bullshit on a resume, and I'm reacting to the actual stuff that comes out of his mouth. No, he's not. He's from Wisconsin. What are you talking about? Hold on. Thought he was from Wisconsin. All right, maybe I am wrong on that. I thought he was a fucking carpetbagger like Ted Cruz. Is Troy Nels from Wisconsin? Congressman Troy Nels. Yeah, he was born and raised in Beaver Dam, Wisconsin. What are you talking about? He was born and raised in Wisconsin, went off to war, moved back to Wisconsin where he was a cop, and then moved to Texas. What are you talking about? He represents Texas, House District 22. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. He's from Wisconsin. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Sorry. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to... So he's a Houston guy. He's not rural. I don't know how the fuck he wins down there in Houston. So maybe his seat would be something that could be challenged if he's in. I don't know what the Texas 22 is. And by the way, neither do any of you. You just looked it up now. Like, you people don't know what most people don't even know what congressional district they live in. If I went on the street with a microphone and did one of those street things and said, what congressional district do you work at? Nobody would know. Most people don't even know who their congressman is. Till they meet him at a pancake breakfast. Let's see. Oh, I see the confusion. I see. No. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I made it sound like he was a rep in Wisconsin. No, what I said was he's a Texas carpetbagger from Wisconsin, just like Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz isn't from Wisconsin. Follow along. He's also just a carpetbagger who, likes to tell people, I'm a Texan. That guy. He's from Wisconsin. He's like he's like upper Midwest, born and raised. All right. So anyway, did Frank not know he was from Wisconsin? Because I don't imagine it's something that Troy Nels likes to let people know. You just got to look into them. All right. Anyway, these people, man, they're just heartless. And they are so comfortable. They are so comfortable just laughing at us and mocking us. Now, what's the response to that? I'll tell you what the response is. The rise of democratic socialists. Yeah. Let's talk about that here. Let's talk about what the response is to a guy like Troy Nels chomping on a cigar with a pinky ring, talking about his lobster dinners and how we don't work hard enough. What is the response to that? Be fucking afraid, because I know I'm not comfortable with the response to it. I might be getting more comfortable. Who knows? At the moment, I'm a little confused by the whole Democratic Socialist thing. Yesterday in Colorado, another Democratic Socialist won their primary spot there for the Democratic Party, and they'll be, they're expected to win the seat. The seat that was won by a Democratic congressman, or not a Democratic Socialist, the seat in Colorado, it's Denver, so we're not talking like mountain folk. It ain't the same people who elected Boebert. No, it's a more urban city, Denver. The Democratic Socialist who won the primary defeated a sitting, are you ready for this? 15-term Democratic Congresswoman who's been representing Denver. 15 terms. Not 15, 15 terms. 30 years. This person has represented the democratic values, the working man, whatever it is, in their district in Denver for 30 years. Started out as a West Wing Aaron Sorkin idealist, I bet. Well, the party has changed. 15 terms. Bye-bye. That I like. That I love. Getting rid of old Democrats. I want to get rid of everybody who is an old, whether they're Democrat or Republican. And by old, I'm not necessarily talking about when their birth date was. I'm talking about people who have been a part of this nonsense for far too long. 15 terms. This Democratic woman who, by the way, I never heard of her, which might actually be a good. I always say that if your congressperson is somebody that you've never heard of because they don't go on Fox News, because they don't go viral, if your congressperson is one of those folks, they might be a good congressperson, because those might be the people who are actually doing the work while all the fools are appearing on, Jesse Waters shows or whatever. So the fact that I don't know who this woman is, she's been in there for 30 years representing Denver. She lost her primary yesterday to a Democratic Socialist. The fact that I don't know who she is means that maybe she's a good congresswoman. I don't know. But she's gone now anyway, so forget about it. This, of course, follows big victories for the Democratic Socialist Party in New York, Washington, D.C., upstate New York, California, the guy from the hills, one of the most despicable reality characters of all time, that Spencer Pratt guy, he lost to a Democratic Socialist there in Los Angeles. Now, what we're not really seeing, and this might have to be the next step, but we're not really seeing this in rural enclaves. We're not really seeing a rise of people flying the Democratic Socialist banner there, but we are in the big cities, and it seems to be catching on. As I just listed, a whole bunch of major metropolitan areas, population centers, not the least of which, New York, Washington, and Los Angeles. They are now all being led by people who caucus as a Democratic Socialist. So what is that? First of all, let me just say this. Change the fucking name. What have you fucking people learned? Nothing. Democratic. Those are two of the most poorly branded words in the political lexicon. Democrat? Why don't you just call yourself like liberal pedophile socialist? Why don't you go with that? Holy shit. Now, maybe this is just the result of my age, right? I think that optics and narratives and how things are branded, I think that resonates and sticks with people, but maybe not. Maybe it's the opposite. Maybe the young people who are sweeping the Democratic Socialists into higher office from coast to coast, maybe these young people are wrapping themselves in the banner. Whereas I, a man in my 50s, I grew up in the Cold War. I understand the negative connotations to the word socialist. It needs to go away, because I'll tell you something that I've learned about socialism and Marxism and all of that. Here's what I've learned about it through independent study, of course, nothing that I would learn in public schools. But what I've learned is it ain't at all what people say it is. It ain't at all. I'm sorry, but I have a much wider view of especially the Nordic system. I'm a big fan of the Nordic system, but we won't divulge into that because the current brand of democratic socialism in America isn't really based on the Nordic system, but it's similar. Point is this. Terrible name. Terrible name. I don't know what you got to name it. If they really want to be able to resonate or penetrate into more rural communities, not even rural, doesn't even have to be rural. You just, if you want to like make a headway in Boise, Idaho, which is, sort of urban, sort of, I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's kind of a cool little city. If you want to make headways in places like that, I just think that the branding has to be changed. Mandami needs to rename his party or whatever, if he is in fact the titular head of the party. Bernie Sanders would probably argue that he is, but he never had the balls to actually call himself that, right? Didn't Bernie Sanders, he's a Democrat. Like he runs as a Democrat. At least that Angus guy, like the Angus guy, he's kind of, he's a little bit odd too. He's an independent. But no, Bernie's a Democrat, right? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Let's not get distracted. I'm free spinning here. All right. So Democratic Socialist, terrible name. What you know what you should call it? You should call it the wait, let me come up with a name for the Democratic Socialists. Liberty Freedom Eagle Party. That's it. It's the Liberty Freedom Eagle Party. Oh my God, we're gonna win every election. I'm already calling. Eagle cock. Freedom apple pie baseball party. You know what? I like Freedom Liberty Eagle. The Freedom Liberty, the FLE. That's it. Nah, that sounds too Central American. That sounds like a Central American terror organization. Can't do that. Not with a guy named Mandami leading it. No, gotta stay away from that. I'm just doing it. The Eagle. The Eagle Party. The Eagle Party. We're the Eagle Party. And all of your branding needs to be the American flag. The American flag and the Eagle Party. Stop calling yourselves Democratic Socialists. All right, so they are making some waves, and it's young people. It's young people. Hey, oldsters, be very afraid. Be very afraid, because the young people of this country seem to be in agreement. Now, I know that for every for every one weirdo that shows up at like a Charlie Kirk event, right? I think there's 10 others. I think there's 10 other normal kids that go to high school that are like, yeah, that's weird. That's weird to be 15 and like this much into this kind of thing. I have a 17-year-old son. Born and raised in Texas, has conservative parents. Well, his dad, he's got me, but I'm not like in the household. They're conservative Republicans, so he's being raised around that. He goes to school in Plano. He's very smart, gets good grades. Pat myself on the back. I did nothing except have, a night of sex with his mother and produced him. So she's the smart one. He's really smart. And I don't speak politics with him. We don't, from a very, very early age. And he has been engaging me in some social issues conversation since he's probably like 10 years old. He would just ask me what I think of this. And what I've said now pretty consistently is we don't talk politics. I'll tell you what I think, about certain issues and why I think this way. But I'm not a joiner. I don't, that's always kind of been my thing. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I didn't join frats in college. I'm not a joiner. I am like, let me look at everything one at a time, and I'll give you my decisions as we go. I'm very a la carte when it comes to my idealism, which would be a weird way to say idealism, because idealism wouldn't be a la carte. My point is this. There's been no real brainwashing, right? Like, it's not like, look, let me tell you something. This is the way it's going to be. I've never done that. But we do have grown-up conversations and have been having grown-up conversations. So 17 years old, Plano, Texas, a Texan. He's going to be voting in Texas in a year. He is not in any way, shape, or form weird. Like, he's not like some weird outlier kid. He's popular. He's got a lot of friends. Football player, plays sports, and now he's going to be a wrestler. Well, he wants to beat ass. He's like, I just want to beat dudes' asses. So now he's going to be a wrestler, and that'll be fun for the senior year. I think he might be a democratic socialist. I'm not kidding. Not because he has said as much, but listening to him process and react to stories that are on the news. Like if we're eating dinner and there's something, we watch the news, because I think that's like a really great way to kind of talk about the world. So you eat dinner and you got the news on, and as we're eating, he'll make these comments. And it started when he got here in Chicago. I noticed very quickly over the course of the first 3 days, my 17-year-old son referenced Mandami 3 times. And every time I went, that's a weird reference for you. It was joking, like making jokes or whatever. None of the jokes were negative towards him, but they were, just little like witticisms. That's like a Mandami thing or whatever it was. So I started to be on the lookout. And over the course of the last few weeks, I've been talking to him and hearing, his views on certain things, and he offers them up to me. He's as Texas as they come. And I think he's a democratic socialist. I think he might be a democratic socialist. And why wouldn't he be? I mean, he's looking at his entire generation being replaced by AI. He is not going to enter the same world that the rest of us, maybe not so much millennials, but Gen X and boomers and all. We entered a world where we were in America and there were endless opportunities and there were jobs for us. And if you worked hard and you loved America, you could make anything happen, right? That was our reality. That was our programming. That is not happening with the new generation. The new generation is looking at the world in front of them and going, I guess I'll start a TikTok account. I guess I'll do that. Generationally speaking, it's a deep, weird time for this generation of Americans who are coming. And again, I call them the canary in the coal mine generation, because they're the generation that everything is new to them. The world, the professional world that they will be entering, we got no advice for them. Half of them, if they do get a job, which most of them don't think they will, half of them, if they do get a job, they'll be working from home. That's not like the same. So it's weird. And again, he hasn't stated as much and he hasn't said that, but just listening to the way that he speaks and, his response to certain things we see on TV, yeah, I think he's a democratic socialist. I really do. I really do. So we'll see how that progresses. Again, he will tell you that he is not political in any. I mean, he has values and he has beliefs, and he can't wait to vote and all that. But he will not say, I'm not a Democrat, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a conservative, I'm not a Republican. He's like, those are all boxes, which I kind of appreciate because I feel the same way. Anyway. So let's talk about the response to Troy Nehls talking about his lobsters and how we're not working hard enough. Troy Nehls of Wisconsin says. Texas Congressman Troy Nehls of Wisconsin. Maybe I need to be more detailed in that. Don't want to confuse people. So what is the response to that? And as I said, it is the rise of democratic socialists. So let's go through what they believe, because I think that most people who have that visceral reaction to that absolutely horrendously branded name, both Democrat and socialist, neither are good. But you know what I would say? I remember the first time my partner, Kelly Moore, came to me and told me about this person she was very excited about. I'd never heard of them. I heard of them, but I didn't consider them anyone of presidential caliber. And Kelly mentioned the name Barack Obama. And I remember thinking, that guy can never win. That name, that is terrible branding. That guy's name, it's only 7 years after 9/11? You think a guy named Barack Obama would be elected. Well, I was wrong. I guess the branding of his name wasn't so terrible. So maybe the same thing with the Democratic Socialists. Again, I'm a man in my 50s, and I can only make these evaluations based on my life experience. And I think that my life experience in no way jives with the current life experience of my son. None whatsoever. So, well, this is unfair because he's... never mind. I was gonna say, like in the summer, like I'd have jumped on my bike and I'd have been gone until the streetlights come on, as the memes promoting Gen X always say. Our parents didn't know where we were until the lights went on. And my kid still hangs out with all of his friends, and he never leaves the couch. He's on the phone all night long. He's on the phone. He's got screens going. He's talking to people. They're playing video games together. It is a different life experience, is what I'm saying. So maybe he doesn't give a shit about the branding, the ugly Cold War branding. See, I'm a Cold War kid. I hear Democratic Socialist, and I'm like, nope, that's bad. So what are they? Democratic Socialists believe that the economy and society should be run democratically to meet human needs rather than to make profits for a few. Well, I got to be honest. You got me at the first sentence. We'll investigate more, but I'm intrigued. That is absolutely what I believe in 100%. I believe that our government should be built to meet human needs rather than to just make profits for people who are rich already and gave the proper contributions and all that. Human needs. All right, I like that. Unlike traditional liberals who want to regulate capitalism, Democratic Socialists aim to challenge and structurally transform it, ensuring that working people control the institutions that affect their daily lives. 100%. Sign me up. Sign me up. Yeah. 100% agree with that. I'll read it again in case you want to. All right. Unlike traditional liberals who want to regulate capitalism, Democratic Socialists aim to challenge and structurally transform it. I believe that American capitalism, and I call it that, I make it the distinction, I believe American capitalism is bankrupt and has been bankrupt since the 1960s. Post-World War II, our form of American capitalism is just absolutely morally bankrupt and only benefits a select few people. That's not true, Pugs. America's the only country in the world where an immigrant can come here. Those immigrants aren't even allowed in this country anymore. So stop telling that fucking story. Let's see. What else do we have here? Okay. Unlike traditional liberals who want to regulate capitalism, Democratic Socialists aim to challenge and structurally transform it, ensuring that working people control the institutions that affect their daily lives. The definition often depends on whom you talk to. Well, that's a problem. That's not a... But the movement's standard bearers are united by their belief that direct government action, not the free market... Love this. Love this. This I completely believe in. The movement's standard bearers are united by their belief that direct government action, not the free market, is a better tool to solve problems for everyday Americans, such as the rising cost of healthcare and housing. Well, let's take a look. Some of these countries who have the idea there that the market should, or that the government, direct government action, not the free market, is the way to ensure and solve problems for everyday Americans, right? There are countries that do that. They seem to be doing okay. One more time. United by their belief that direct government action, not the free market, is a better way to solve problems for everyday Americans. What are the biggest problems facing everyday America? We have an absolutely insane homeless problem. Well, that might house some people. We get them off the streets. We might have nicer streets. But then you won't be able to complain. See, I think that people enjoy complaining about homeless people. If all the homeless people are gone, who are you going to complain about? You're still an ugly, bitter person. You're still angry about whatever. I don't know, daddy didn't hug you enough. You're still pissed. And healthcare. How many Americans? I'm from week 2. I have no healthcare. I have no healthcare. None at the moment. I did, but I don't because it went up. Thanks, Trump. My healthcare went up. So I do think that the government would be better at making sure people don't sleep on the streets and get treatment for cancer. I do believe that the government is better at that than private industry, because 2 of the biggest problems plaguing this country is homelessness and people going bankrupt from healthcare costs. So obviously the free market has failed the people. So let's try something new. In the United States, Democratic Socialists tend to support working within the capitalist system. All right, that's a very important note, because, people think, that's communism. You don't know what that is. Shut up, stupid. People who conflate communism and socialism and obviously, nope, not going to say it. Never mind, there are certain things I'm not going to say. You got to buy me a beer, and we got to get a little salty with each other for me to say the things I really want to say. In the United States, Democratic Socialist policies tend to support working within the capitalist system rather than abolishing it outright. Critics typically decry the likely high cost to taxpayers of some of these policies. Yeah. Taxes are going to go up. Absolutely. We're going to close all the loopholes, all the corporate bullshit. But yeah, taxes will go up. Taxes will go up. Move. Go to another country. Go to another country where you think that you're go to Mexico or wherever the hell it is. I don't know. I look at people all across Europe. They seem happy. I know people in Canada. They seem fine. They're not like overburdened by some insane tax. But you know what? They also have the national health system. Or actually, no. Canada has like a variation of Medicare for all, which. But you gotta wait. But if you got a doctor, you gotta wait in line. Have you ever been to a fucking American emergency room? What do you think? They just have a turnstile where people come and go? Stop it. You've been fed bullshit by people. You've been fed bullshit designed to make you turn against things that would make your life easier. And you're so stupid that you've fallen for it. Time and time again. People voting against their best interest because a millionaire on TV told them that they should. I can't. That's Sean Hannity. Yeah, he really speaks for the middle class. Sure he does. All right. In the United States, Democratic Socialist policies tend to support working within the capitalist system. All right. Here's what I'm going to say. I will never declare myself a Democratic Socialist. I like some of the things that they're saying here. By the way, I didn't read anything about kill all the white people and let's start Sharia law. I didn't see any of that in the Democratic Socialist platform. Where's that cut? Where do I find that? Like they're gonna make all of our kids wear burqas, right? Isn't that one of the things that people think about Democratic Social? Okay. All right, there you have it. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to call myself a Democratic Socialist simply because of the branding. It's so terrible. But should they come up with a new name, like should they decide to call it the Eagle America Party? I'll be there. And make their colors red, white, and blue. Everything flag, everything eagles, everything freedom, liberty. And stop talking about democratic socialism. Stop about it. People are not going to come to your side of this party if that's the kind of nonsense that you're getting into. All right, let's see here. What else do we want to talk about? How about an update on Nancy Guthrie? This was kind of interesting. Nancy Guthrie disappeared on February 1st. And it was all the rage. It was all we talked about. Nancy Guthrie. Where is she at? They going to find her? Well, we lost interest pretty quick because that's what we do. We're like, so nothing. We're going to get no. July the 1st, and the FBI has issued an update on the Nancy Guthrie case. And here it is real quick. Those ransom notes, remember the ransom notes? Remember TMZ? We have received this ransom note. Remember all that shit? That was all bullshit. The FBI's like, yeah, none of those ransom notes we believe were authentic, which is strange because if you remember the second ransom note, the FBI said, well, it knew things about the condition of the home that only someone involved in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. By the way, Nancy Grace, where's she been? I'm not saying she's been abducted, but seems like, Nancy Grace would have come out of retirement for the Nancy Guthrie story. It just seems like it was her wheelhouse. They told us that the second ransom note had information that only the kidnappers could know. And now here we are, July 1st. They're going, we don't. And so we don't believe any of those notes were real. All right, so there we have it. I don't know. I mean, she's dead, right? We know she's dead. She's dead. She was a fragile old woman and something terrible happened to her and it took too long and she died. Oh, I shouldn't. I don't mean to laugh. That's like my nervous reaction to an awkward situation where I tend to giggle to make light, Always trying to control the energy of the room. That's me. All right, let's talk about something that absolutely blew my mind today. I woke up this morning. I saw this story. I was like, oh, that's too bad. And then I started to read about this person and I went, what? Okay. We've lost a celebrity, and we'll account for him in the celebrity death trilogy in a week or so when we do a recap. But I wanted to mention this person. This person died, I don't know, today, yesterday, whatever. It's being reported today. Victor Willis. Do you know who Victor Willis is? Victor Willis is the lead singer of the Village People. Victor Willis is the cop or the Navy guy. He's either like in the Navy. He was wearing the white naval officer's uniform, and then there was the cop thing and all that. He was the cop, right? So Victor Willis died. He was only in the Village People between 1978 and 1982. He was the lead singer. He was the most important person in the band. He was specifically recruited by the producer. What was his name? I don't know, some French dude. He was specifically recruited because he knew he wrote songs. He wrote, I don't know if he wrote all of them, but he was a big part of, the biggest hits that the Village People had. He sang lead on all of them, and he knew how to arrange. So he was somebody who had skills and was somebody who was wanted in the Village People. He was the first guy brought in, or I guess cast, to be in the Village People. The rest of the group filled out around him. Now, I probably first came to be aware of the Village People around about 78, 79. I dug them. I liked them. Macho Man? You kidding me? Little 8-year-old me? I'm like, macho. And then why? Right? I didn't know. What didn't I know? What didn't you know, Pugs? I didn't know they were lame. How's that? I didn't know they were lame. Let's just go with that. But I knew they were gay. That was the thing about the Village People. My grandpa let me know that right away. Funny Village People story. All right, so I'm watching, I don't know, honestly, I think it was like Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. I think it's something like that. And I'm staying with my grandma and grandpa, and we're watching Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve, and out come the Village People, and they're like, hey, 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 macho, macho, macho man. And you know the biker? Remember the biker with the big mustache? My grandma, I remember we're watching the Village People, my grandma goes, oh, that's an attractive man. Right? And my grandpa goes, I don't think he's interested in you. And my grandma looks at my grandpa and she says, oh, you think everyone's a gay blade? A gay blade? This woman was born in like 1919. What is gay blade? I'm like 8 years old. And I'm like, okay, I think what she's saying, I think they're telling me that this band is gay. I wasn't even sure what gay was. But anyway, it became clear to me, the Village People, especially if you know anything of their history, they were a gay-friendly band who, not gay-friendly, gay targeting. They came out of Greenwich Village, which was the epicenter at the time of, two of the people in the Village People worked at the Stonewall, where, the iconic gay rights landmark bar, the Stonewall there in New York. So the Village People was a reference to the people of Greenwich Village, who at this time were gay. It was New York's big gay community. They were obviously gay. They were singing something, macho, macho man. Okay, you didn't have to be that worldly to kind of go, I don't think these dudes like chicks. I don't think that's a thing. Doesn't matter. Whatever. The music was good. I went to roller rinks. We skated the Macho Man and in the Navy. So, Victor Willis, the lead singer, the most important guy, the singular guy who was brought into the Village People and everybody else was filled out around him. Victor Willis died either yesterday or the day before. The cop and the Navy guy wasn't gay. What? That's what blew my mind. I found that out this morning. What? What do you mean? What do you mean he's not gay? He looks pretty gay to me. What do you mean he's not gay? Turns out he's not gay. Not only was he not gay, but let me show you something. Let me show you something. All right, this is the lead singer of the Village People. Did you know that he was married? Yeah, he's married. He's married twice, actually, both to women. Married two women. Married one woman in like 1979 and then married another one in 2007. So it's not like he got old and decided he was free to come out. No, he is a straight man, Victor Willis. And this was his first wife. Hold on. Look at this. This is his first wife. He was married to Claire Huxtable, the sailor cop from the Village People between 1978 and 1982, was married to Felicia Ayres Allen, who is now Felicia Ayres Rashad. What? The Village People guy had a wife? Oh my God, I was so wrong. My whole life, I just thought that they were, hanging out in bathhouses and whatnot. All right, let's see. We got any more pictures of them together? They're having some fun. There you go. Who's? Yeah, she's with the rapist. I guess there's no more good. There's another picture of him. Here we go. Macho, macho, macho man. All right, there you have it. Victor Willis, lead singer of the Village People, not gay. In fact, married to a very fine-looking woman. All right, so that leads me to my next question. So we now need to investigate the Village People. We need to take a look at a classic photo of the Village People, and we need to determine moving forward who we're just going to think is gay and who we're going to think is straight. Oh, Pugs, why are you doing that? Because I have fun with people's sexuality. That's why. All right, here we go. Let's look at these folks. All right, here we go. All right, so there we got right here, this is Victor Willis. He's doing the cop here. He's not gay. Turns out he's not gay. All right. So let me go with the sure things. All right. Let me just tell you the guys who I'm pretty sure sight unseen, these are gay dudes. Randy. We know that Randy the cowboy is gay. I mean, that's just pretty sure construction workers gay. Would bet dollars to donuts that the chief Indian guy is gay. And what about mustachioed motorcycle? He's not a motorcycle guy. Stop it. That's not a motorcycle guy. That's a gay fetish club guy. There's the difference between a motorcycle guy and a gay fetish club guy. All right, so here are and then this guy. Who is this guy? It's like the spare. I don't know. I also never realized that. All right. So anyway, there you have the Village People. Now, let me tell you, because I asked AI, I said, hey, who in the Village People is gay and who's straight? So I wanted to try and figure this out. All right. It says not all members of the Village People were gay. While the group was intentionally created by gay French producer Jean Morali to target the LGBTQ club scene in New York using macho gay fantasy archetypes, the actual lineup was a mix of straight and gay men. In fact, the driving force behind vocals and lyrics was heterosexual. Well, we've already that's Victor Willis. He's the singer. All right, so Victor Willis, let's look at this. Here we got the cop. All right, here's excuse me, the cop, Victor Willis. He's straight. All right, there you go. How about this guy? Let's talk now. The Native American. His name is Felipe Rose. Native American Felipe Rose. This guy right here. Straight up gay. He's gay. He's definitely gay. I would have bet that. All right, let's see here. How about the cowboy? That's Randy. I know Randy. I ever tell you my story? I got a Village People story. So my buddy Mike and I, and well, actually, it was just Mike and I. It was me and Mike and a couple other dudes. Let's say it was me, Mike, Jay, and Kurt. Maybe Jim. I don't know. That's my running group round about this time. We were probably 21, 22 years old. No, actually, I think we were under 21 because that's why we didn't have anything to do. So we were hanging out on a Friday night, didn't have anything to do, and we were hanging out in the living room of his house. Now, his dad wanted to watch something, and his dad wanted us out of the house, and we're like, we don't know what to do. We don't have anything to do. So his dad stood up. Now, remember, this is probably like 1990, 1991. His dad stood up, reached into his wallet, pulled out a $100 bill, and put it on the table. And he said, you guys can have this if you go see the Village People who are playing at the Aragon Ballroom right now. So we were like, all right, we had nothing to do. And he said, look, you want something to do? You go see the Village People. And we're like, we're not going to see the Village People. He's like, you're going to see the Village People. Mike's dad was funny. He's like, you're going here. You can have $100, but you have to go see the Village People. And then I'm going to want ticket stubs. I remember him saying that. I want 4 ticket stubs. So we had to keep the ticket stubs. We went and saw the Village People as a total goof. Now, there was a point during the Village People show where me and my friends had somehow made our way up to the very front of the stage, and we were like the first guys. Yeah. I may or may not have been pulled up on stage by Randy the cowboy and then proceeded to sing the chorus to Macho Man. I don't know. I might have. So me and Randy go way back. That's how I know his name is Randy, because he was nice. He was a nice guy. He was like, come on, you okay? Because like I'm up there singing, and he comes and he whispers in my ear. He's like, you're doing great. Don't worry, you're doing great. Because I was kind of getting tired, because I was really going for it. I'm like 20. I'm probably half in the bag, probably drank half a bottle of Wild Turkey in the parking lot. And now I'm on stage at the Aragon Ballroom with the Village People doing Macho Man. And I remember Randy going, song's almost over. Pace yourself. I'm like, okay. So I like Randy. Randy's the cowboy. That's him right there. He's definitely gay. Although, fun fact about Randy, he wasn't always gay. He came out as gay in 2004. Says he came out later in life and married his longtime male partner. Right, so there you go. How about the GI sailor guy? That's this one. That's this guy here. He looks scared. He's like, Moira? I mean, really? Doesn't it look like, who said a ghost? I mean, he looks like that from an old Abbott and Costello movie. All right. Let's see. What's his deal? That would be the GI sailor. His name is Alex Briley. Straight. 100% straight. Says heterosexual. Married multiple times. Construction worker, David Hodo. Do we have the construction worker in this image? Yeah, there he is. I'm going to say gay, and I'd be right. David Hodo, gay, while he was initially quiet about it during the group's peak. None of them were quiet about it. Everybody knew. Although he was initially quiet about it during the group's peak. He has since identified as a gay man. Well, good for him. Good for him. You're a Village person, man. Lean into it. And then finally, and this is the weird one. Okay. So the leather man, Glenn Hughes is his name. Here he is right here. The leather man. Nuanced. He's nuanced. He's orientation fluid, I suppose. It's very, very nuanced for him. Here's what it says for Glenn Hughes. Hughes was often tight-lipped about his personal life. He passed away in 2001 and was buried in his leather outfit. Good for him. Good. Yeah, I'd want to be buried in my leather outfit too. Undisclosed. He was not publicly gay, but he died in 2001, so maybe he would have come out. I'm gonna bet dollars to donuts that he's a gay man. Again, I can look at you. I can sum you up. I can, sort of do the math on all the different choices that you've made. The mustache is a big red flag for me. Not a red flag, or an indicator flag, I should say. Yeah, pretty sure there. Anyway, there you have it. The lead singer and the creator of Victor Willis, the boss. Let's just call him the boss, the Mick Jagger, if you will, of the Village People. Victor Willis, he died. So there you go. So I wanted to mention this story today, but I don't know how much I want to get into it because I don't have enough details. Like I'm thinking we'll find more details. But you see about the story that's breaking today about Calais Campbell, NFL journeyman. He's like, I think he's with the Ravens now. So he's been with every team over the course of his career. He's very good. I think Calais Campbell is like in the top 5 active sack leaders, like of the guys who are currently playing in the NFL. I think Calais Campbell is like in the top 5 all time of having sacks. Terrible situation for him in Atlanta. His mother was murdered. His mother, beautiful townhouse in Buckethead there in Atlanta. Apparently bought it for his mom, I'm guessing. Taking care of mom. Mom got murdered. And it gets even worse. Mom was apparently murdered by his brother. Oh, why did I do that? That's, no sound effects at all needed for that. I'm sorry. Mother of NFL star Calais Campbell has been found dead inside her Atlanta home. His brother has now been charged with murder. The brother of Baltimore Ravens star Calais Campbell was charged with murder after their mother was found dead inside her Atlanta home. Natil Campbell, 71, was pronounced dead inside her townhouse in the upscale neighborhood of Buckhead. Did I call it Buckethead? When police found her unresponsive during a welfare check on Tuesday afternoon. You have to believe that maybe Calais was behind the welfare check. I mean, I guess I don't know how many kids she's got. Maybe another kid did, but geez. Because I'm guessing the upscale condo that she lives in, I'm just assuming that, her super wealthy NFL son may have set her up there. While the details of her passing are still being investigated, we take comfort. Well, why don't you think that she could have done it on her own? I don't know, man. While the details of her passing are still being investigated, we take comfort in knowing that she's reunited with our father, her beloved Chuck, and in the arms of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. We ask for privacy at this time, so okay, we get that. Relatives were worried about the septuagenarian and called for officers to visit the house. Police learned that a male, so police show up. So other family members who, and here's how I bet this went. I guess the son who murdered her was living with her. So I guess other family members were in contact with her. They knew something was going on in the house. And so they decided that they were going to call the police and do a welfare check. The police show up for the welfare check because some concerned family members need answers. The police show up and they find somebody has barricaded himself inside the townhome. That person would turn out to be her son, Calais Campbell's brother, and now the person suspected in her murder. Police learned the male had barricaded himself inside the home shortly after they arrived, forcing officers to enter the house and detain the individual, who police at the time did not name. Sierre Campbell was later identified as the suspect, who has been taken into custody. The 41-year-old, a former football player at Colorado State and the older brother of NFL star Calais Campbell, was arrested and booked in Fulton County Jail on Wednesday. He faces charges of murder, aggravated assault, and possession of a firearm. Okay. So what also should be mentioned here, and I don't need to read the rest of it, but it's a very sad story, and he's had mental problems, and the police have been to this townhouse in the past to deal with his mental problems. And wow, what a terrible, oh God, you guys, if you've ever had to deal with somebody with mental problems, it is one of the most troubling experiences that I think you'll ever find yourself in. I will say this. I think I went the majority of my life without ever truly understanding what a crazy person was. And I got to say, in the past number of years, I have had two very close boots on the ground experiences with people who have severe issues is horrifying. It is absolutely horrifying. And especially since neither of the two that I'm talking about seem to be interested at all in getting any help. And you just can't talk to them. You can't reason with them. You don't understand anything that they're thinking. And they will rant and rave to you about all of these. And they make no sense. Man, it's scary. So apparently Calais Campbell's brother was, one of those people. And now the mom is dead. That's a real sad story. I'm sure we'll have more details. But Calais Campbell, NFL veteran, star sack man, got some terrible news today when he learned that his mother had been murdered by his brother. Oh, God. How do I transition? That's a sad story. All right. No, let's not do that. Hey, here's a happy story. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. It's Bobby Bonilla Day for those of you who celebrate. I celebrate. Every July 1st, I celebrate Bobby Bonilla Day because I'm not a fan of the New York Mets, and I don't really care that they, in perpetuity, it appears, are going to have to pay Bobby Bonilla millions of dollars every July 1st for the rest of eternity. That's why it's Bobby Bonilla Day. Bobby Bonilla signed a deal like back in the 1850s. He signed a deal with the New York Mets like a long time ago. Well, I mean, Bobby Bonilla played in the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. He was at his peak around 92, 91, 93 when he was a part of the Bonds and Bonilla, Barry Bonds and Bonilla thing there in Pittsburgh. Anyway, the New York Mets paid him an insane amount of money and then deferred the payments and worked out a structure so that like every July 1st, Bobby Bonilla, he's going to get paid every July 1st until let's find out. Let's figure out exactly what the numbers are here, because it's fascinating. Right here, we'll just give you an idea of who Bobby Bonilla is. By the way, Bobby Bonilla, not even a Hall of Famer. I mean, he's not. Bobby Bonilla isn't even, in my opinion, Hall of Fame adjacent. I mean, he was a defensive liability. And yes, he had 3 seasons where he could have been an MVP, but I don't believe he ever won the MVP. A handful of all-star games, right? But he played for a long time. And the only era where he was truly great was between the early 80s and mid to low 90s. He's not a Hall of Famer. I don't think. I mean, I don't know. I have to look at his numbers, but just compare him to other Hall of Fame third basemen. No way. Not a chance. I just don't think. Anyway, here he is. This is who we're talking about. So let's talk a little bit here about the details surrounding Bobby Bonilla Day. We celebrate every year. Let's see. What do we have here? Oh, we've got some other examples of this too. So I'll tell you something. He's not the only one. He's not the only player who's still being paid by a team years after they were on the team. The New York Mets are paying former player Bobby Bonilla exactly $1.1 million. Well, actually, it says exactly, and then I shortened it. They're paying him $1,193,248.20 every year on July 1st. He's been collecting this annual check since 2011, and the payouts will continue until 2035. The New York Mets handle the main $1.19 million payment. The Baltimore Orioles, they also owe him a separate deferred payment of $500,000 every year from 2004 to 2028. So in addition to the 1.1 that he just gets for staying alive from the New York Mets, he's also getting $500,000 every year from the Baltimore Orioles until 2028. This is crazy. Including his latest check, which arrived, today. Bonilla has now been paid for 16 consecutive years. He has 9 payments left. The deal completely wraps up on July 1st, 2035, when Bobby Bonilla will be 72 years old. Now, here's the origin of it. Back in 2000, the Mets wanted to release Bonilla, but still owed him $5.9 million for the final year of his contract. Instead of taking a lump sum, they owed him. They're like, we don't want you anymore. You suck. And he's like, okay, well, you owe me this 5.9. But instead of taking the 5.9 as a lump sum, Bobby Bonilla's agent negotiated a deal to defer the money for 10 years at a massive 8% compound annual and 8% interest. So that's the deal. That's why you get a manager. That's why I always, or an agent. That's why I used to always laugh, like Russ Martin. Russ Martin should have been, well, I know how much he should have been making, right? Because Russ Martin never had an agent. He just went in and like negotiated his deals. And I remember Kelly and I always had an agent, a buddy who would come in from Chicago. He's a lawyer and he did all this stuff. And he would come in and he'd negotiate our deals because I never wanted to talk money with my bosses. I'm like, no, you talk to somebody else. I don't want to talk money. And Kelly felt the same way. So I remember our program director who was negotiating with our agent saying to me once, he said, well, Russ Martin, he's really successful. And, we signed his last contract on a bar napkin. And I remember we just laughed. We went, yeah, that's how someone who doesn't have an agent, and he's probably making like half of what he should. Anyway, so the agent, man, this is what you do. The agent comes through. I once had somebody years ago ask me if it was in their best interest to get an agent. And I said, well, you'll be paying your agent whatever the negotiated fee is, 3 to 5% or whatever, sometimes more, it depends. You're going to pay your agent whatever that fee is, but you got to ask yourself, is that agent going to get you more than that? Is he going to if your agent can get you 10% more than what you would have gotten on your own, and you've got to pay your agent 5%, you're up 5%, get a fucking agent. But the idiots, they're always like, well, I don't know why I'd pay 5% to an agent. That's my money. Because he's going to get more than you. Because that's what he does for a living, you jackass. You don't know how to do that. Go ahead, sign your contracts on bar napkins, you rubes. All right, so that's what the agent did. Got him 8% interest on a deal that was supposed to pay him out on the $5.9 million they owed him over 10 years. However, here's the backstory on why the Mets got into this problem, and it concerns Bernie Madoff. Okay? Mets ownership eagerly accepted that deal. The agent saying, well, we're going to charge 8% interest, which they should have said no to, but they said yes to it. Why? Because the Mets at the time were heavily invested in a guy by the name of Bernie Madoff, and Bernie Madoff was giving returns to the people who invested with him like nobody's business. And the Mets thought that 8% compounded interest might seem crazy, but they're doing so well with Madoff, they'll be able to pay that 8% no problem. Well, guess what happened? Mets ownership eagerly accepted the deal because they were heavily invested with Ponzi scheme operator Bernie Madoff. The Mets falsely assumed that they would make at least 10% to 12% of a return on the Madoff account, easily clearing the 8% interest that they owed Bonilla. But Madoff's scheme collapsed. However, the contract stood. Because of that interest rate, Bonilla and his manager turned $5.9 million into $29.8 million. How crazy is that? That's what the agent got him. You ask Bobby Bonilla if he ever thought about signing a contract on a bar napkin. All right. But would it be of any interest to you to find that he's not the only one? Do you know that we're going to be doing this with Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani has an insane contract with the Dodgers. He signed an historic 10-year, $700 million contract with the Dodgers, but he's deferring. All right. Shohei Ohtani is owed $700 million in a contract by the Los Angeles Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani is deferring $680 million of the 700. So essentially what the Dodgers are actually paying Shohei now is $2 million a year for 10 years, $20 million. because the other 680 million is going to be compounding interest and being paid out to the Ohtani family for generations, I would assume. It says here, instead of taking his $70 million per year average while playing for the Dodgers, Ohtani suggested that he should earn just $2 million a year and that the remaining $68 million per year will be parked. Says here he'll collect his massive deferred sum in equal $68 million annual checks from 2034 through 2043. All right, there you go. But he's not even the only one on the Dodgers who they did that deal with. You know, the Dodgers, you look at them, how they've been able to stay so competitive and win so many titles recently. It's because they built a championship team with highly paid players who have deferred contracts. Mookie Betts on the Dodgers, he's going to collect $115 million in deferred salary between 2033 and 2044. So let me ask you this. What if the Dodgers are broke in like 2040? And they're still paying Shohei and Mookie and Blake Snell, also with the Dodgers. He signed a massive deal with them for he deferred $66 million. That'll be paid to him between 2035 and 2046. Freddie Freeman, he will receive $4 million every single year from 2028 through 2040. And Will Smith, the Dodgers catcher, he's locked into a $50 million deferred payment. He'll be paid through 2043. What about other teams? Let's see a couple other ones that we can mention here real quick. Players not named Bobby Bonilla. Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer has deferred money from the Washington Nationals. They owe him $15 million a year, every year through 2028. Steven Strasburg, another Nationals pitcher. Let's see. He's set to collect $80 million in deferred payments between 2027 and 2029. Rafael Devers, $75 million have been structured into his bank account. $75 million deferred. He'll be paid through 2043. It's crazy. Anyway, that's how they do it. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day to those of you who celebrate. He's the man who started the trend. All right, what else do we have here? Let's do this one, right? Let's do let's jump into 3 videos. Why not? Let's say you. All right, here's the first video. 3 videos. I find 3 videos that are circulating virally. We watch them and then we just kind of chew the fat over them. Here's the first one. This is a woman on an airplane. Oh, I know we love people on airplanes. We love narcissists on airplanes who feel like it's their opportunity. Now that I've got you all gathered here, look, bitch, you don't have us gathered here. We all just happen to be going to the same place at the same time. Mind your business, sit your little ass down, and shut the fuck up. Thank you. That's if I was on this plane, that is what I would say. So let's watch this. Here we go. This is a woman who is obviously just delusional.
The end of our life.
Narcissist.
Everyone.
Let's watch what this woman did on your... Imagine this happens on your flight.
My name's Ashley. I just had a quick question for y'all. It's burning on my heart to ask you. I know
When she says it's burning on my heart, I immediately went, oh, fuck, this is going to be about Jesus. Oh, fuck.
Single one of us. I had a quick question for y'all. It's burning on my heart to ask you. I know every single one of us had a ticket to Orlando, and we know where our ticket is going today. And I just had it burning on my heart to ask y'all that if you were to die today, the Bible promises we'll stand before Jesus at the end of our life. And do you know 100% where your ticket would lead to? So, like I said, all of us are sinners. And at the end of our life, sin demands that we are separated from God for eternity. But the good news is that Jesus Christ died on the cross.
I mean, I hope you know that if I was on this flight, I would be like, oh, sit down. I can't believe that nobody is saying that to her. Sit down. You seem like a lovely woman. You seem delusional and a little bit, but sit the fuck down.
For every single one of you and for me, so that we could spend eternity with God. And so I just challenge you today that the Bible says everyone who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved.
Oh, I'm so quoting the Bible. Okay.
Call upon his name. And so
all right, that's enough of that nightmare woman. But while we're out here quoting the Bible, let me throw one back at you, sweetie. Woe to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites all, for you travel across the sea and land to make a single proselyte. And when he becomes a proselyte, you make him twice as much a child of hell as yourself. Matthew 23:15. Don't proselytize. Jesus couldn't be any more fucking clear about it. Holy Christ! No proselytizing! I'm in my heart, and I want to challenge you. And if you died right now, first of all, don't talk about dying right now when we're in an aluminum tube filled with gasoline, okay? At 30,000 feet. Shut up. Oh, all right, there you have it. That's video one. There's video one. All right, here's another lady that's just as infuriating. This is a woman, I guess she's out there at that Great American Barbecue, whatever the hell we're doing, whatever's going on there. Anybody wants to go see CNC Music Factory? They're playing. No, not even them. That's like too big a band. All right, here, how about this? Here's a woman out there at this crazy MAGA fest.
Flag.
Which, by the way, I think they should call it Liar Fest. I think that it should be Lyre. Get it? Like Fire Fest. Get it? Same spelling, except it's Liar Fest. Let's somebody, please. Let's go with that. All right, here we go. Here's a woman talking about stuff she knows nothing about.
You can't do that in Europe.
You can't do what?
Wave a flag. They're banning it. You cannot wave.
Can't wave a flag?
You can.
Okay, can't wave a flag. They're banning flags in Europe.
Not wave your country's flag in Europe.
You can't wave your country's flag in Europe?
Not. It is being banned.
Look at how confident she is. Look at it is. Yeah, it's being banned. It is. I'm confident. I know this. I'm going to say it with confidence. You can't wave a flag in Europe. Just that's why I like America, because you can't wave a flag in Europe. It's being banned. You can't.
I was just at the Olympics, and that's in Italy and Europe. Everyone was waving their own country's flags, including the Italian flag.
Well, you can't put it up on your house, not anymore. They're banning it. I think it's still in process.
I think you can't put it on your house, though. I know that they're banning it more. I think they're.
Yes, but
in all of Europe.
I'm not saying all of Europe. I think actually maybe it's just the UK. Okay. Yeah.
And what are they're banning the flag of Great Britain, or they're banning all flags?
No, not all flags. Not all flags. Just their particular country's flag.
Okay, so in England, what she's saying is you can't fly the flag. She loves America because she can still fly her American flag in England. And why that means, or in America, and why that means something to her is because she heard over in England, if the English people wanted to fly their flag, it's illegal. It's illegal for the English to fly and she believes it. She believes it because Benny Johnson told her so, or somebody who fills her little fucking rabbit cage of a head with nonsense is making her believe stupid shit.
Not all flags. Not all flags. Just their particular country's flag. You can't show patriotism is what I'm saying.
What she's saying is, in Europe, if you show patriotism for your country, it's illegal, and that's why she prefers America.
Oh, okay. And a lot of the countries over there, okay. Europe countries, like you can here, like we're free to do here.
Yeah. All right. I haven't heard that. Where did you see that?
Yeah. I don't remember, but
they never do. They can never cite their sources from their little stupid noodle thoughts in their stupid little birdcage head. Where? I don't know. Everybody knows, right? Everybody knows. Byron. I heard it from Byron. Byron told me. All right, that's video number 2. Oh, God. Oh, God. And they're just so stridently ignorant. Just stridently. It's amazing to me. All right, that's number 2 in our 3 videos. Oh, here's a third one. It is Pride Month. Or actually, it's not Pride Month anymore, right? We no longer have to tolerate the gays. It's July. All right, so let's close out Pride Month with this Christian lady. Christian lady goes to the Pride Parade, and of course, she's got the camera and she's filming herself. It's the Christian lady at the Pride Parade. So let's see how it went for her. Here we go.
I was reading my Bible this morning and I decided to come down here to a bakery and I accidentally stumbled upon a Pride Fest. So I'm going to go into the belly of the beast so that my followers can see what Sodom and Gomorrah is really like. Someone just came up to me and gave me these Pride sunglasses. This is the gay agenda at work, but I'm not falling for it. They keep handing me these Pride stickers, but I'm just gonna lean into it and reclaim the rainbow because God gave the rainbow to Noah first. This woman just came up to me and complimented my outfit. And I accidentally gave her my number, but it's okay because I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to tell her about Jesus. Okay, so I met that girl at this coffee shop to witness to her, but I think I might accidentally be on a date. Okay, so I think I accidentally discovered what scissoring is.
That chick's funny. I don't even know who she is. That's funny because I was watching it. I was ready to be rage baited. I was like, Christian lady, just mind your own business. And it turned out very funny. It's funny. I like her. She's funny. I don't even know who she is. She's good. All right, let's end today's show. And by the way, I do need to mention, tip the show if you can. I don't think I did that once today because I just absolutely hate shaking the can, and it's nonstop now. We have to shake the can. We didn't even come anywhere close to Pledge Week last month. I just abandoned it. I ended up taking 2 days off because I felt so gross. No bills have been paid. We're back at the front of another month. We're about to compound all this shit, and I'm going to jump off the tall building. Tip the show if you can. We'd appreciate it. We'll add your name to the wall of fame. Drop a little something. Don't think I've gotten a tip since Maddie. Thank you, Maddie. By the way, we got to get Maddie on. There's a bunch of stuff I now want to talk to her about. So coming soon this week, maybe tomorrow. Anyway, where are we at here? That's right. Let's do Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark. Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark. It's just my little feckless attempt to try and raise some sort of, I don't know, reignite the love that we've all had for baseball. Weird stuff yesterday. And I believe this is going to concern our Texas Rangers. This happened yesterday during the Texas Rangers Cleveland Guardians game. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. You never know what's going to happen. Well, let me save it for you. All right, here we go. Again, this is yesterday during the Cleveland Guardians, almost said Indians, Cleveland Guardians and the Texas Rangers game. Let's watch and see how this came down. It's today's Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark.
That is going to make plays of the week. Here's one to left. Cooper Engel tracking. 2 outs.
No.
Oh, no.
Oh, jeez.
No.
All right. Did you see what he did? Did you see what he did? Get your head in the game, Cooper. Cooper Engel didn't know how many outs there were. Cooper Engel thought that was the 3rd out. It's actually the 2nd out. So he caught the ball and then threw it into the stands, which there are still active base runners. There are still base runners. Let's see how this happened again. I feel bad for him, but this is a guy who's not mentally checked into the game. If the manager wants to berate him for not having his head in the game, this is a great example of him playing without his head in the game. He didn't know how many outs there were.
That is going to make plays of the week. Here's one to left. Cooper Engel tracking. 2 outs. Oh, no.
You hear everybody scream. Like as he goes into the motion to throw the ball, you hear everybody go, no, there's still people rounding the bases.
Now what? 2 outs. Oh, no. Now what?
Well,
that's
a mistake that I promise you will not happen again from Cooper Engel. And kind of unfortunate in a lot of different ways, but he thought there was 2 outs, already made the catch, threw the ball into the stands, and that is a 2-base error.
Okay. Wait, that's the reaction.
The ball into
Hold on, let's watch this reaction. All right. Threw it.
And that is a 2.
Now he's about to learn the cold, hard reality of what he's just done.
Base air.
And it's, oh, shit. Shit. Poor kid.
I saw it kind of happen.
You know what? No, not a poor kid. This guy's like 20 years old. He's already made more money in his professional baseball career than I will ever make in my entire career combined. So not a poor kid. Get your fucking head in the game, okay?
He starts running in, and everybody started screaming. Yep, that's a tough one. There's no two ways about it.
And that just gave Texas a 3-2 lead. Cooper Ingle obviously upset that last inning where he threw the ball in the stands, and he went to Tanner Bybee and apologized. And Chris, as you said, those guys will pick him up.
All right, so there you have it. So I guess I don't know, but that pitcher had a right to be upset because a run scored due to his mistake. I guess I'd have to think about it. Now is not the time to think about it, but I don't know offhand. Is that an obvious error? Is that an error? Is that an error charge to him? Or does that run get hung on the pitcher who was on the mound when that guy got on base? He scored because the angle threw the ball, and I don't know how that works. I don't know. Adam, maybe it is. Is that an error? Error charge to the outfielder, or does the pitcher have to wear that? All right, there you go. Can't beat fun at the old ballpark. Now, that has happened before. And I want to show you another example where that happened to what team was this? This is the Chicago Cubs, no less a team than the mighty Chicago Cubs also found themselves in that situation when Milton Bradley didn't have his head in the game. It was almost the same kind of deal. Here, let's watch this. This is Can't Beat Fun at the Old Ballpark Part 2. Let's go back about 20 years. I don't know. 20 years, I guess, maybe. Sucks the most about it. Milton Bradley being a showboat. First of all, he catches it like an asshole, and then he stands here like a printing little bitch showing off. He has no idea that there's not 3 outs.
He better.
All right, there you have it. Yeah, it's happened before. You can have all the physical tools and gifts that the good Lord could bestow on any young athlete, but if you ain't mentally nails, Milton Bradley was not mentally nails. All right, guys, that's going to do it. Hope you all had yourselves a good day. I hope you continue to have another good day. Please tip the show if you can. We are in another pledge week now. It's the first of the month, and we haven't paid last month. So support this kind of talk radio if you can. Drop a little something in either the Venmo or the Cash App. And here's my promise to you. We'll be back here tomorrow at noon for more of this. Love y'all. And what I always remind you, stay neighborly. I'm sorry, one more thing. Hold on, back really quickly. Something that I wanted to mention, I did this yesterday and it was kind of upsetting. Yesterday I ended the show talking about Game of Thrones and, well, actually not Game of Thrones, House of Dragon. And I wasn't on the screen. I wasn't looking at the chat room when I was talking about it. And then it was only after I had ended the show and then glanced at the chat room that I went, oh, a lot of my people like House of Dragon. A lot of my people actually, I haven't had that much interaction in the chat room on any single subject in a long time. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to ignore you guys. I just assume that when I talk about TV, I just assume it's self-indulgent and nobody likes what I like. And but there we had a subject. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about doing a live stream. I'm thinking about every night, Sundays at 9:00. Just doing like a live. Okay, just watch the latest House of Dragon. And here's what I think. So maybe I'll do that because there does appear to be enough of you that are watching that. So maybe we get together and we can, although that is dependent on the idea, the concept that everybody's going to watch House of Dragon at 8:00 on Sunday, which we don't have to do anymore because everything's on demand. We can watch it whenever we want. Anyway, House of Dragon's so good. Can we speed this up though? I mean, what is going on? Do you guys realize that over the last 3 weeks, I started with season 1, went through season 1, went through season 2, and now here we are 2 episodes into season 3. I'm all caught up. 2 episodes into season 3, and we still don't have the thing. The thing has been going on. When is the thing going to happen? What is the thing? Well, I'll tell you when it happens. I'm just waiting for, well, I guess you'd have to end the series. I guess if we have a decision on, well, never mind. I don't want to spoil it for spoiling it. How am I spoiling it? Anyway, It was I wanted to apologize today for the people I ignored. You were talking House of Dragon. Thank you, Barney. Barney, you're absolutely right. But what is it about people sticking a microphone in your face? I think we're talking about the woman who heard from Barney. I think I blame Barney. I think Barney told this woman that in England you can't fly the English flag and that America is the only place you're allowed to be a patriot. I think Barney's the one who told her. But he is right. He says just because someone puts a microphone in your face doesn't mean you have to speak. No, you don't. But again, narcissism, look at me. The whole world is paying attention to me. It's a powerful drug. It's a powerful, powerful drug. Anything else? All right. Adam says Libby and my sexy time is right after we're all horned up from House of the Dragon. Now, that's weird that you say that because House of the Dragon is not Game of Thrones. And what I mean here is, well, I mean the same universe, but what I mean is Game of Thrones was explicit. There was heavy and gratuitous sexuality in Game of Thrones. It was dirty. Like there are parts of Game of Thrones where you're like, this is a dirty TV show. House of Dragon isn't really like that. House of Dragon has some, bizarro undertones. What with, incest still a big player. Incest is always going to be a big player with the Targaryens and I guess anybody who sits the Iron Throne. But yeah, House of Dragon isn't that dirty. So I don't know what are you getting horned up by from House of Dragons? I don't know. All right. Anyway, thank you, folks. We're done. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon. Bye.